claim to be the hottest artist unseen today, but I keep demons away and watch out for snakes. Now you could have the heart and the aim of a marksman, but some wanna see you fail just before you started. Ambitious go hard, the world is cold-hearted. Anything that'll generate profit, they want it. And when you get it, you could lose it quick. Send the highest price pussycat for you to get with. I'm on point like a sergeant in the green beret. Soldiers go to war even if the reason is fake. So please watch your stock, gold, land, and property. Watch your money, it gets ugly when you're playing Monopoly. Come on. The girl and the guy with the millionaire swag. Them dudes at the bank got your dough in the stash. The soldier in the tank from Cali to West Bank. In a cell getting tortured so you're sure to shank. Watch out. Yeah, watch your back. Watch out. Watch your back. The girl and the guy with the millionaire swag. Them dudes at the bank got your dough in the stash. The soldier in the tank from Cali to West Bank. In a cell getting tortured so you're sure to shank. Watch out. Yo, watch your back. Come on, watch out. Watch your back. Yeah, I get it in, fair God, not afraid of a thing. Slick now, but the long run you just can't win. And the way the world turns is just a matter of time. The fly is honey shining, rocking conflict diamonds. Some are scared, but they know it's like the world done crack. What's bad is now good and opposites don't attract. So I'm warning all, watch your back, watch out. Politicians only good enough for running their mouth. It won't be too long, the truth will get revealed. Without fear, go for what you know and do what you feel. But because he drives a phantom, that don't mean that he fake. He could have just watched his back and learned from all his mistakes. Watch out. Watch your back. The girl and the guy with the millionaire swag. Them dudes at the bank got your dough in the stash. The soldier in the tank from Cali to West Bank. In a cell getting tortured so you're sure to shank. Watch out. Yeah, watch your back. Come on, watch out. Watch your back. The girl and the guy with the millionaire swag. Them dudes at the bank got your dough in the stash. The soldier in the tank from Cali to West Bank. In a cell getting tortured so you're sure to shank. Watch out. Yo, watch your back. Come on, watch out. Watch your back. Watch your back.
An impossible fact, man's fooled like a mime act. Invisible walls, yeah, I can climb that. Ripping the rules up, we done with them. Switch the fuel to a little something different. Mix a listen, then wait for it to explode. If you missed it, you can take the next episode. Let you catch up, rewind back. I'm pushing enough to make the sides crack. Pack a bang, cut the knives full up. I'm stacking up the plans before it's all crushed. Never knew you had me caged down. While all I'm trying to do is just break out. Reach the roof for a gasp of air. Can see right through it with a glassy stare. Hit the smash without giving a care. Keep it abstract cause I ain't living like a square. In the box but I'm thinking out of it. Couldn't cross cause we always make it tick. A lot of box but it's bound to fit. Cause we gon' make room when we shout big. Cause we gon' make room. If not, then we out of the box. It's just unorthodox, the way we shout big. Hear me out of the box when we shout big. Hopscotch, round the edge, yeah you found me. Watch me taking steps by the boundary. See the border, ignore it, create my own space. Believe I make my own fate. It's a risk, either fly or collapse. I'm ready, got my feet tied up like a bootstrap. Ahead, cause we kicking the score. Original strategy, now we winning the war. Bringing tactics in the form of a track list. Should've warned me it was drastic. Match fixed with the measures we take. It's certain with the tricks, cause we clever when we operate. Won't stop me escape, I'm getting out of here. If I gotta jump the gate, know that I'm over clear. No fear, land safe, we down. Seeking new sights, hear a new sound. in the box, but I'm thinking out of it. Couldn't cross, cause we always make it tick. A lot of rocks, but it's bound to fit. Cause we gon' make room when we shout big. Cause we gon' make room. If not, then we out of the box. It's just unorthodox, the way we shout big. Hear me out of the box when we shout big. Yeah, the forces couldn't hold back. Even Luke Skywalker couldn't hold that. Cause it's hot on the fire, burning every bridge, you can't stop my desire. I'm shaking the framework, burst out.
This is the right one.
Now you wanna know my name, what I'm about.
I have all these scenes
Thought
and
I
they're
came
named
from
the same
a rave,
thing. I'm not
it
sure which
started
one to
getting
click.
loud.
Ah!
Could it have been
No, I have it. Here we are.
unaware that
Here-
we got a vibe in
Here we
common?
are.
Or forgotten where we came from, it's alien.
Woo!
Can't explain you through the same entertainment.
What up, everybody? Let's get this music turned. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Here we are. Han, how are you? I feel great today, actually. Yeah, it is. I'm coming out of a 2 days long migraine. So it's one of those things. Yeah, you know when you felt bad for so long and you just feel normal again, everything's looking up. Yeah, everything's coming up pants today. So it's and then I feel this massive upswing of positivity because of course I'm feeling just a bit better. So here we are. I'm counting my blessings. But how are you, friend? What the fuck? Wait, you shouldn't be
Am I
muted.
alive?
You shouldn't be. Can we hear Han now?
Can you hear me?
Can
Why
you,
are you
Papa,
all
can
ignoring
you
me?
hear me?
Oh,
They can hear you now. And you're welcome
um,
for that vibrato.
thank you so much, Katie, for letting me know because I do desire to be heard. What was the question?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've had a few weeks of just relentless shit, like not necessarily happening to me, maybe at me, around me.
Yep.
And yeah, no, it's good. But I'm noticing a difference in myself in that I'm able to see the good things. I'm able to like know that it's not forever. I'm able to like know that I can put the power in to deal with the bad things when I need to, all that healthy stuff.
Yeah. The power of positive thinking.
It's not even positive thinking, it's just like more realistic than like the weird patterns I had in my head before.
Setting realistic boundaries for yourself and your expectations.
Yeah. Just I think just knowing that it's not forever is really important.
Yeah, that's man, that's something that's I'm constantly needing to remind myself of. You know that whatever
Oh
it
yeah.
is, what's the phrase that everyone talks about? This too shall pass. You know the carpe
Oh,
diem of
it's such a cliche, but that's why it's a cliche. It's because
because
it's true.
whatever it is, it's gonna go on. It's gonna move on. You know.
And I think sometimes my habit was to already feel bad, and then something bad happens,
Yeah.
and then wallowing in the badness in a not productive way. 'Cause sometimes it's great to just feel the badness, but like to wallow in the badness and make it worse in some ways, and like be like, oh yeah, this is just how it's going to be forever. To just kind of justify my own sadness when actually I could actually just do the work to feel better as well.
Yeah. I think that sounds more productive.
And I don't want to do the work because I'm depressed, but that's when you have to do the work.
That's when it's the hardest to do any kind of work because you just want to
Exactly.
sit and do nothing, and that it
And it's when you
feels
need
so
to.
good. You know.
Mm.
For
And
me,
that's the
it's
thing as well, is
fun.
I'm not even enjoying the badness like I should.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the root of all my problems is just not being present. Anyway, um, feel the bad and feel the good, everybody.
Sure. So do you want to get into any details about what's been going on, or do you want to just keep trucking on? I'm easy. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I did.
I would actually love to talk it through because I think I'm annoying all my friends by talking about it, and this is another avenue in which to express myself.
Yes,
Um,
please.
I've got a lot of family shit going on, a lot of like interpersonal drama. I a few weeks ago, I had to have a complicated conversation with a friend,
Mm-hmm.
and that's never fun. Um,
What was
it
what was it about?
so this is one of my really good friends I've known since primary school, so since we were about 6 or 7. So that's a long time now. That's over 20 years. Um, I may have mentioned her on the pod before. Long-time guys might recognize parts of the story. We've been really good friends for a long time. She's been a really important part of my life for a really long time. And I had to sit her down and have a conversation with her a few weeks ago just to say, like, um, I'm bridesmaid for her wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And after the wedding, I don't want anything to do with her fiance because I hate him.
Okay.
Um,
Did you know him
he
before
uh,
they were dating? Like, did you hate
they've
him
been
before?
dating. We've been dating for like 9 years, so I am aware of him. I've
Oh,
hung out with him.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we were friends on Facebook or whatever. He's just not for me. He's always rubbed me up the wrong way. He has very drastically different views to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in October last year, uh, I had a party because I had finally graduated. It took me 6 years to do it part time, and I did it, and I was really proud.
That's
It was a really great day. And he kind of spoiled a lot of the evening by going on a racist tirade to the like one brown person left in the room.
no.
Um, yeah,
What?
and yeah, it was. I don't quite know what happened. I'd been drinking prosecco since midday, and this was like 7 p.m. or later at this point.
Yep.
Um, and I'd had like a little party in like a local pub. Everyone, it was very chill. Everyone was getting on. Like my parents are both there, who are famously separated, hence
Mm-hmm.
all of this. So they were getting on. I had some family members and some friends. Everybody was getting on. I had my in-laws there. I was really surprised at how well everybody was getting on. And then like I don't know what happened later on the night. My friend alleges that Aaron Boombastic, friend of the pod,
Friend
was
of the pod.
the brown face in question. And
Just give me a second.
um,
Yeah.
my friend who I've fallen out, well, not quite fallen out, we've had the conversation with, um, she alleges that Boombastic may have antagonized the fiance in some way to say those things. I
Whoa.
think.
Okay. 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 So he was saying, without getting into details, obviously, just so I'm up on the story because I'm a little ADD today.
No,
He
and I'm telling it in a mad way as
No,
well
no,
because
no,
I'm
no.
also all over
It's
the
quite
place.
linear. I'm following it, but I just want to make sure I'm understanding it correctly.
Let's get the facts in.
So, and that's where I'm going, Grim. How is like in what was she saying he was being mean because he was antagonized, or was she saying her fiance was being racist because he was antagonized to be
Uh,
racist, or that's just how he was expressing his frustration? It doesn't make a difference really at the end of the day. Now,
let's call her Jane. Uh, Jane was alleging that.
race. Can, oh, jeez.
Thanks for your reaction, because honestly, like, I wanted to be nice to her, and like, it's a really complicated thing, and I think if it wasn't for me being a bridesmaid, it wouldn't have been such an awkward conversation. Does that make sense? Like, it's weird
Yes.
that like an
Yes.
impending marriage shouldn't um affect a friendship in such a way, but it really did. I don't know.
Yep.
But that's why I wanted to have the conversation as well, because I'm like, you're marrying a racist. Like, it's my job as a bridesmaid to make sure you know that,
Yeah.
kind of as well.
Yep.
So that's why I feel extra awkward about it, because I know that she is spending a lot of time and money on planning this, and it's supposed to be a nice day. And I think at first my first response was like, I don't want to spoil this for you, but actually, like, I want to participate in it as fully as I can as well. Anyway, so she was saying that so your reaction is nice because I've been beating myself up a little bit for being awkward.
Yeah,
in some ways.
I'm like I'm pulling. I'm a little full of P and V today, so
Yeah.
I'm being cautious and or try obviously trying to be, as I think most of the things we're going to be talking about today require a bit of delicacy. Um,
Witches hate nuance. That's what I'm learning.
yeah, yeah, bitches do hate. You're right. You're right. I think it's so outrageous and silly. Before you keep going, I'll just say I think it's outrageous and silly for her to have um that excusing that it's one thing to be
Yeah.
apologetic for a partner doing something silly. My wife does it for me all the time to her family. It's currently happening right now because I'm in some hot doo doo.
Oh,
Um,
well, we should talk about that later, or not?
no, I don't give a shit today, dude. It's if we're gonna talk about it, we can get into it.
Sorry
Um,
that I keep shaking my desk, by the way. It's very loose.
no, you're good. You're good. Facts, you're killing me. Um, I I think it's one thing to be embarrassed and somewhat quietly apologetic about your partner doing something or saying something silly or stupid or someone being offended by it. But it's another thing to excuse it and say there was a good reason for it, especially when it comes to something like hatred or bigotry or racism, where there's not really ever a good excuse for that behavior. You know,
Yeah.
so anyway, sorry.
No,
That's
you're right, something that made me feel a bit better in the aftermath was my mum just said most people can't be goaded into saying racist things,
yeah,
which yeah.
yeah.
And he was saying things that, again, another friend of mine, I think my partner described as Facebook meme racism. Like,
Oh
and
no.
he's a member of the armed forces. Um, so I feel like there's a certain amount of subscribing to the British Empire, believing in borders, believing in the supremacy of one person over another through power that you have to subscribe to be in the armed forces that maybe doesn't lend itself well to nuance when talking about race.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not calling all people in the army racist. I just think that, um, yeah, it's a difficult. I don't think you're going to be able to have the most nuanced beliefs when you have to believe what the British Army is telling you. Like, I guess.
Yeah, I
Um,
think just in defense, just to be because I'm warming up. I I think there's definitely like unexpected culture, but I do think there's a lot of people that don't necessarily subscribe to that when they're not at work. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I think they're maybe few and far between. I don't know. I only have a few acquaintances and maybe one or two
mm,
friends in our armed forces. Same kind of vibe. But
yeah,
some of them are definitely able to and shut it off. But when you're in it, when you're there, it's
yeah.
hard to say, "Hey, I disagree with you politically. Save my life." you know.
Exactly. You have to subscribe to it. And even just I can't tell you why, but even now I'm just like I respect the Canadian Armed Forces more than I do the British one. And no, but yeah, so that's what yeah, so I do know that this is like a reaction that she's having to me kind of coming out of the blue with it.
Sure.
Not that it necessarily should have been. It was months after we hadn't had a chance to see each other. She didn't apologize. He didn't apologize.
Hmm. And he
At the
still
time,
hasn't apologized.
no.
Okay.
Um, so I was bringing it up. It was a few weeks ago, so it's like 3 or 4 months after the fact. So I do also want to say that, like, when you're feeling defensive, you might not always say the best things. But
Yeah. Yeah.
she has since said that she doesn't want me to be a part of the wedding party anymore, which is like I get it. Like I totally understand her side of the view. Like if somebody said to me like I don't like your fiance, I wouldn't want them or my fiance wouldn't want them to be part of the wedding party either. Like it makes sense, but it shows me. And when we had our conversation, she was just like, "That's my man, 100%.
Yeah.
Like I'm sticking with it." And the thing's complicated when you date someone for 9 years. Your lives get entangled in complicated ways. So I'm very understanding of that fact.
Hmm.
But It's made me very sad. Um, I don't even know if I really wanted to be her bridesmaid.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely felt better about being her bridesmaid once I'd had this conversation. I was like, at least I'm not going against my own beliefs, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even though things hadn't really changed, but like she knew how I felt at least. I don't know. Seems
Yeah.
weird, right? But uh,
Well, yeah.
yeah. So she's shown me exactly what she wants. I've said my
Yeah.
boundaries. She said hers.
Yeah.
And it's just while we've both said we don't want to make it affect our friendship, it just is
Mm-hmm.
gonna. It just is gonna.
But the fact that you guys have even verbalized, hey, let's not let this affect our friendship.
That means a lot.
That's a nice little handshake as you slowly drift, right? Because that's what
Yeah.
happens. That's
Sign
just
off.
what happens when we're getting older, people are getting married off, having kids. You know, you're just gonna start drifting either
Yeah.
towards other people or towards, as you grow apart or together. And at least you guys could have a bit of an amicable
Yeah. We've
discussion
like.
to it, I
I
guess.
said to her, I'd rather talk to you about this than not at all.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what kind of comes out of it. And I guess I'm just in my truthful era, baby. I'm just in my setting boundaries era.
Let's go, dude.
Um,
Let's go, dude.
and I don't really want to be the bridesmaid to some racist prick. And even though it makes me feel bad now, I've been really, really blue with it because like this is a person who's been a part of my life for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's
I'm so
complicated when it's a
yeah,
principled stand, like, it's
yeah.
not like, "Oh, he called me a cunt and I don't really wanna hang out with him anymore." It's like his views and beliefs are, the antithesis of my own.
And I'm guessing because you said like we've known each other for many years. Um, how do I ask this question? Is he the type of person? Can you see a redemption arc for this man in the near
I
future? Because obviously on a long enough timeline, anyone can. But in the next let's put a 3 years on it. In the next 3 years, is there a redemption arc for him?
I see redemption in anyone. Um,
But
and
do you?
I think I have to believe that for my
Sure,
own personal sanity.
I agree. I'm
Um,
with you.
I It's complicated. I guess the reason I'm pausing I guess that if I'm pausing, it's no, right?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, of course.
I
But
do think he has I do think he has the potential. I don't think he has the potential to do that before the wedding at the end of the year.
yeah.
I don't think he owes it to me to do that regardless. I don't think it's my judgment.
Yeah,
Um,
but maybe not you as an individual, but you as a collective group of human beings that don't want to, like just people that don't like racism, the the overarching you.
it's so weird as well. Like, I think this is again, like, we talk about this a lot about, like, sort of, the Britishness of it all, or, like, the difference between, you know, across the Atlantic. I think we talk about that a lot, but, like, there's something so and, tell me if you're shocked, but there's something so inherently British about his kind of racism that it's really hard to push back against because people are just like,
You guys are
"That's just what everybody
slimy.
does?"
You are
Oh
slimy
my
with your
god.
racism. Americans are grimy. You guys are slimy with your
Slimy.
racism.
True that, true
So
that.
it's slick and weird and gross and very underhand. All racism's gross, but it's very
Oh, yeah.
slick and very underhanded. Whereas Americans are, I don't like you. Sorry, I'll just do a non-Southern accent. I don't like you because you're different. Where the
Yeah,
British
you've already got an American accent to me. Why are you putting an accent
I'm sorry,
on?
guys. Well, I don't like it. Not all Southern people are racist, but it's very prevalent there, anyways. And then the British people will do really weird things. Like they'll make a comment, and you'll have to stop and check. Who are you talking about? Oh, you said that because of this, and this. It's not just I don't like you because you're different. It's hey, look at this, or an observation or a passing by comment. British people are real gross and slick about their
We
racism.
are, and, again, just kind of it's all wrapped up in class as well. And we love to hate people because of class. So,
Hmm.
uh, yeah, and it's all wrapped up in just the way that we are socially. I get on with you, Ben. I think you're a bit open to it, but just like, and I enjoy being sarcastic and a little like, but I think we the way that we talk and communicate and hang out with each other is very like, I don't know, if you don't know someone that well, you're very much like keeping them at arm's length and keeping them on the precipice, and like you say things very generically and you're kind of waiting for the other person to react to them. I don't know, like there's all these rules that are unstated, but there's so many ways to get them wrong.
Hmm.
Especially, I know that's the same of every kind of social interaction, but especially so it feels like in like British culture, and you're just like, I don't know if this is just because I'm an awkward, possibly neurodivergent person, but I walk away from so many conversations being like, what did I just do there? Like, what did I
Oh,
get
dude,
wrong? Like, oh yeah.
you're preaching to the choir. I walk away knowing what I got wrong and just
Well, I
fine,
don't. No, I don't know.
fine.
That's worse.
Is it?
Yeah.
I guess so. But maybe there are things now I'm thinking about it. Maybe I think I know everything I've done wrong, but I only know maybe I'm just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Now there's something to worry about. So yeah. So in the last few weeks, I am glad that I've had the conversation, but I've been quite
Yes.
blue about it in the long run. I think it is a kind of grief, maybe. Like this is somebody who's been in my life for a long time, for a lot of like really important things in my life. She lived 20 doors down from my mom's house, so we went to school together. We've always been really like close to each other. Whenever we went out on nights out, like we would get the bus home together because we literally lived in the same place or split the cost of a cab. Um, that person is really important to me. And I think I'm realizing that in this, as well as like realizing what my boundaries need to be. So it sucks, but it's the right thing to do and it's fine. Katie and Libertina Grimm are both saying very nice things that I kind of agree with as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I
And I
think
want to be, I want to be that kind of friend. So if something does go wrong, she can come back to me and be like, I don't want to gloat and be like, I was right, but I want to be able to like be the kind of person that can be reached out to if things were to go wrong or if things were not to go as planned.
punch her in the stomach and yell, "I told you, bitch."
Ugh. Yeah.
No, honestly, Hannah, it sounds like you did all the mature and correct things, and I think if it was handled any other way, really, I think if it was handled any other way, you probably wouldn't even been going to the wedding. Maybe never would
I
speak
mean,
again.
that's what I'm trying to decide now. Is like now I'm no longer a bridesmaid. Everybody knows that I was meant to be a bridesmaid. I've already been to the hen do because that was, sorry, what do you guys call it? A bachelorette?
Yeah, bachelorette. I like hen do
Because
though.
yeah, the hen do.
It's good.
Because it was the hen do was in 2019 because they were meant to get married in 2020. The wedding has been cancelled twice. Um, because of COVID.
Oh, I
Her
thought because of racism.
No, her wedding ring has broken 3 times. Um,
What?
um, but because the,
What's she doing
hen
with those
do,
fingies?
I think it's just a busted up ring,
Oh,
but it's just a
bro.
bad omen for me, honestly. So yeah, so the hen do was in 2019 because we were meant to be getting married the following year. So I've already been there, and her hen do was basically like her whole family, who I've known again because I've known her since we were kids. So I've always been invited to family parties. So it's just going to be me there at the ceremony being like, why are you at the back here with us plebs instead of at the front?
Um.
Um,
Oh gosh. Do you have a +1?
Not until
Like
the
it?
evening.
Oh, okay. Oh no. Oh no. What are you to do?
Also, just wrap into this that I'm also a vegan. So the main day and the meal is also already going to be awkward
Why is it?
because
Is it plated or not plated?
I don't even know what the food's going to be, but whatever it is, it's probably going to be like a wedding breakfast that's like a meal, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
3 course. Usually the standard here, I don't know what it is, like a 3 course meal after the fact.
yeah, yeah. It's funny because when we were going to get married just outside of London, and
Oh
I
yeah.
know all about this because when we booked it, it was like, oh, things are done differently there. Cool. Blah blah blah. Excuse me. Um. Oh my gosh, what are you? So not till after the ceremony? So your plus one gets there for the dinner or after dinner?
Um, so I can't remember what time. So the ceremony will happen. I think it's around lunchtime,
Wait, they
midday,
didn't
maybe even 2 p.m.
they didn't give a bridesmaid a plus one? Hold on. Hold on. Han, how many people are going to this wedding? I don't think you
I don't
have to go
know.
if you don't want at this point.
I think it was when the wedding was first supposed to happen, I was fine with this because me and my partner had not been dating that long. It was like 2
Oh,
years, whatever, like, I'm not gonna bring him to a wedding.
2 years? That's wedding guest. 2 years is
No!
2 years is wedding guest. Yes, if someone shows up
No.
and they've been
He
dating
was
some time.
invited no, at that point, he was invited to the evening, not
Okay,
the daytime.
sure.
Like, that's 2 years, that's fine, right? That was the deal with my other friend who got married in 2019. I
Okay.
was, like, weird about I was that's my personal choice, like, I'm not gonna bring some freak to the especially, like, I know all her family. Like, I don't want them to
2
be like, "Oh, how's that tall freak you were dating when we break up?" You know what I mean?
what if Han, if it takes you more than 2 years to figure out if someone you're dating is a freak or not, I think we got to
Oh,
start
I know
from the
he's a freak.
beginning. We
I
got to
know he's a
pull this
freak. That's
right
why I
back
like him.
to day one. Yeah, we 2 years is long
Um,
enough to know if someone sucks or not, I think, in my opinion.
is that fucked up then, do you think, to not
I think
invite
it's completely batshit insane. If I told my groomsmen, if I had, I'm, I didn't tell my groomsmen who had been dating someone for less than 2 years, or maybe it was right around then. Of course, he had a plus one. All of the wedding party gets a plus one, regardless. Bring a dog. I don't care. I'm not gonna make someone give them all this responsibility of helping out, ensuring everything goes smoothly because that's their job, making sure I show up somewhat sober, and then say, but you got to do it on your own, and then sit all weird beside my family members and other people you don't know. But I want you to do these things for me.
I
Unacceptable.
didn't
Not a
I guess
chance.
so. I didn't feel bad about it because I was like, "I know these people, I'm gonna sit with them." Like, I could sit with whoever and have a great time apart from the
Sure,
groom.
of course.
Um, but, uh, I felt bad for my partner, I think, of, like, sitting in the audience just, like, by himself while I'm sat at the front doing all the bridesmaid
Mhm.
business, I guess. But maybe it is fucked up.
It is. I cannot see
I've
that,
gotta
like.
give my I've gotta give my RSVP soon. I need to decide what I'm doing.
Well, and that's so. wh- what do you want out of this? Because you'll definitely, you can be making a statement of assuredness and maybe solidify, the handshake of your friendship if you do go.
Yeah,
I think that would really say, hey, what we talked about, that's legit. I still want to be your friend. If you want to, I think if you don't go, that definitely sends the message that we're done here.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
Um, yeah. And I think afterwards I was like, "Yeah, no, I feel better about going now that I've said my piece. Like, you've made it clear to me that you're not being coerced into this wedding." Um, you know,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But now I'm like, if I'm going and I'm sitting at the back and everyone's like, "Why are you no longer a bridesmaid?" Like, that's gonna be super awkward for me, and I don't know if that's like
What we need to think of an
if
excuse.
I'm allowed to feel awkward.
No, you definitely are, and it's super
Oh,
weird.
can I tell you something else? It's on
Yes.
Halloween weekend, my favorite weekend to party.
No, this is good. This is you go. Okay, this is good. If you do go, there's something to this. Han, there's something to this. Because let's
I
look
wear
at it
my
this way.
skeleton outfit.
Okay, dress all in black. No.
I'm not wearing black or white. I'm wearing the most colourful dress I can find.
No, just all white. Just all white. Um,
Can't be racist to me if I'm in all white.
pink camo is a good selection. Good idea.
Pink camo.
Yeah, pink.
Ooh.
Pink camo and big old boots.
Well, that's the other thing is there's gonna be a bunch of squaddies there. And I'm like, are they just gonna beat me up for being a bleeding heart liberal?
No, but they'll be turds. Well, actually, you know what? I don't know about the British Army. I feel like I don't know. I think out in public, a lot of times our armed forces are very polite young individuals. Um, But
I think generally yes too, but is it truly in public when it's like a stately home in the countryside?
mm-mm. No, they're gonna go nuts.
That's where murders happen. That's where like murder mystery stories are set.
That's true.
Oh my god, Katie, my distant cousin had a camo wedding. That is so aggressively American. Sorry.
Are they hunters or army people? Hunting, I understand way more than if they're army people. Army people, that's a brain disease. But if they're hunters, you're just a
Oh
redneck.
yeah, because all of the armed forces guys coming to the wedding are probably gonna be wearing their uniforms
They're
as well,
fancy,
right?
fancy ones.
Yeah, the
Or
fancy uniform.
yeah, not their camo. They're fancy, fancy boy
No,
ones.
no, no, like yeah, like very smart, armed to the nines, wearing their
Yeah,
like medals
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. Well, yeah, I think you'll be fine then. You'll be fine if they're all dressed up like that. But what
An
would we,
insult.
if we could chat, let us
It
know.
was
If we
something.
could think of a good excuse. So people, you sit down in the back and they kind of side eye you. What are you going to look over and be like, well, what's the thing? What's
I
the
think
thing
if
to
I go, I
say?
need to be just the most confident person alive. I need to
Yep.
have my hottest outfit on. I need
Yep.
to just go. And if anybody asks, I'll be like, yeah, me and Ashley had a disagreement about something due to the wedding. We passed on, you know?
Yeah. I think that's, again, you're coming up with the most mature, reasonable things. And I think that's perfect. You got this. You have this tackled. You don't, you have it. You have it.
I
Easy.
also don't want to say I'll go and then 6 months down the line not go because that's like 100 and something pounds a head person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but
I'm also trying to be nice.
it's not like you have a +1, so
I do in the evening. That's only half the price.
I had people ask me to bring someone I had never met and someone they had just met minutes ago, and we considered it for half a second during COVID when we were only allowed 50 people. They could give you a +1. And on the flip side, you can cancel last minute. I think both things kind of go hand in hand here.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're
You
right.
know, they
I
could have.
think in the
They could
I
have.
think in the age of COVID, that's the working man's excuse is a little bit of the old COVID-19.
Eh,
Daddy, I got the black lung.
I got the black ear lung pop. Um, well, this is a predicament for you, Han. This is quite the predicament. I don't know. I don't know what you should do, to be honest.
No, but it feels good to kind of talk about it, I guess. Like
Hmm.
I've just like I said, I've bored all of my friends about it. Um but it is weighing on my mind. And it would be a lie for me to say that like even though some people might listen to this and be like, right, she's siding with the racist, she's done for, like that's somebody that I
Yeah.
have a lot of time for.
And look, man, you can
So it's
like
hard.
again. That's why I asked. Do you see redemption in his future? Because we've met racists where you're like, oh, you will not change. Like this isn't gonna happen in the next decade. It is so ingrained, right? And that's why I asked. In 10 years, can he change? And is he gonna? Of course, as a bleeding heart liberal, you can't say people can't change, but in reality, some people won't change because they don't want to change. Um,
Yeah.
and the fact that you are even toying with the idea of him maybe being able to change, I think, says a lot, and maybe he can kind of get out of it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily see it. I don't see it.
Yeah.
It's just complicated. And also like even though it's been weeks, it still feels too fresh.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think Grim's saying something really pointed in chat that I agree with. Um,
It's not so easy to boil it down to she's siding with a racist because we don't know the dynamic behind closed doors and it could have been a learned behaviour that wasn't there in the beginning. Yeah, and generally she's I wouldn't necessarily call her a bleeding heart liberal, but she's generally been on the right side of things. She's been very like we wouldn't have been friends for so long if she had displayed the same behaviours, let's put it that way.
sure. Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
Well,
And I want to honour that. It's
yeah.
hard. But yeah, carry on.
Yeah, he sounds like a massive turd. Speaking of massive turds, let's take a quick break from that chat, and I want to talk about because I want to leave your update, the turd update, maybe to the end of pod. just so we can wrap up on a positive note, if that's cool with you. But I do want to talk about my.
No, I got a lot of turd stories. We should just do it. Best poop of the week.
Let's get into best poop of the week.
Daddy, chill.
my my best poop. I
I
gotta
can't wait to
say,
hear about this.
I'm gonna be honest with everyone in chat right now. I've had a lot of really good poops. However, my poops, they're full on big screws. Like I'm dropping 10 to 15 inches. Just a log poop.
Just a full-on log.
Just a full-on log. I've had like 6 or 7 in the past week. Just full logs. And I'll do a full log poop, and hours later, there I am again needing to do a full log poop. So it's good, but I'm not sure what's happening.
Oh, so tell me, how many of these log poops are you throwing on the fire?
All of them. We don't waste materials here in this house.
It's a dense, calorific form of fuel. What can I say?
What's interesting about the logs I've been producing is they are multicolored. So I feel like my body is going through many extreme stages. Like I have green. It's like poops have combined in my butthole. So I've clay colored, which of course indicates your liver isn't doing too well, and then I have green colored, and it's
Which
like
indicates good vibes.
which indicates good vibes. We all know that.
Yeah. Yeah, we all know it.
And it's like it's not even like it's kind of they're mashed together and you can see the colors intertwining at some point. It is two separate poops, like an Oreo cookie. Two separate. It's completely separate. You can tell the difference. There's where this one starts and ends, and it's twined up like those Christmas candy cane cookies you get. And I want to ask you, do you think there's something behind this? Am I holding my poops too long? Am I releasing them too soon? What's happening here?
Now, you famously are a save a poop till work so that you can shit on company time, right?
Well, that's changed a bit. Because I'm in the early stages of trying to start a union. So I got a bunch of
Yes, King. I thought you were about to say I'm in the early stages of like the management track, and like fuck you.
No,
But no, it's
dude.
the other way around.
No. I don't want to talk about it too much. For real. But so I haven't been saving my poops purposely anymore. So I don't know.
I've no idea. I'm not a poop scientist. I just know what feels good, and it's big poops.
Oh, it feels good, dude. My poops sometimes feel like those boogers you pull out your nose, but for my butthole.
Are the ones that feel like they're coming from your brain? 'Cause you're
Yes,
just, like,
it
pulling
feels
and
like it's coming from inside my stomach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great feeling.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's how I've been doing. What about you?
I'm honestly so thrilled for you. I don't know. I wish I knew the science of the multicolored poop. Maybe that's it. Your body's just so good at multitasking, or like not even multitasking, like concentrating on one factor at a time. It like just digests one meal and then digests another meal.
Goes on to the next. Goes on. It's so why if my body can
On to the next one.
compartmentalize like this, why can't my brain?
Maybe that's why the brain and gut connection, baby. Like maybe all the connection is going on down here, so it can't go on up here.
Oh. So I don't know. The thing that's really it's just clearly so many different types of poop in there. I don't know.
I feel like we need to address the fact that this is not a scientific method, and it might just be that there is a shadow in your toilet.
Okay, look.
That's my
I'm eating
scientific
more
method.
regularly, chat, Katie. So I don't know what's going on, man. I just don't know what's going on. For the first time in 46 minutes, I just noticed you're wearing a Megadeth shirt. So let's heckin' go.
I'm wearing my sister's Megadeth shirt that she left here when she stayed over the other week, and I have to return it tomorrow. I was like, "Oh, quick! I've got to get a wearing."
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I'm not a huge Megadeth fan. I've got a few favorite songs, but my partner is very much into them at the moment. So I'm just like, "Hey, look how cool I am.
Mhm.
I want the boys to like me."
Of course. Response message in chat. Yeah, I I pretend to like metal because all my friends like metal. I don't like it. I don't
You're a
like metal.
solidly like indie rock boy, right?
Dude, 100%. Give me like, this is how indie rock I am. When I first saw Alexis on Fire on Much Music in
Mhm.
the early
Oh, fuck those
2000s.
guys though.
Hold on. I looked at them and I was like, oh man, I really like that one singer. I wish he just went out on his own. Enter Dallas Green. So that's
You know what you want, and you know what plays on Much Music, the
yeah.
Canadian
And
MTV channel.
I knew what was gonna work. I knew what the people wanted. I have had my finger on the pulse of America for well over 20 years. I predicted Dallas Green's success way before they had any idea. So I'm an indie rock boy.
Such a little indie rock boy. I was a little emo kid, which I've
Yeah.
now realised as an adult I was actually more of a nu metal kid masquerading as an emo kid. Because I don't
Yeah.
like any of the main emo bands that much. Fall Out Boy, that's it. They were my band.
Yeah.
I hated My Chemical Romance at the time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Paramore was eh.
I was a snob, so I liked underground punk at that time. So all
That
these
was the problem.
bands,
That was the problem. I was like,
yeah.
oh, they're too big.
That's now you know, everyone's Paramore. I wish I got into them at the time. I regret not getting into more of this music that I'll listen to now. It's a bit
Yeah, now it's nostalgic. I'm like, oh yeah, they were playing this on Kerrang radio 20 years ago.
yeah. And that's the thing I miss. I kind of miss the nostalgia boat on a lot of it because I didn't hear it on the radio. I didn't like it at the time. And now when Vanessa's feeling nostalgic, getting into all
Oh,
that
Vanessa's
music.
a real little grebo, isn't she?
Oh, bro. Don't get me
Oh,
started.
so
Don't even
much.
get me started. It's aggressive.
Vanessa, we love you. Shout out to V.
Shout out to V. Shout out to V. Welcome in Paper and Mo.
Mo, I'm a fan of MCR now only because I've been able to step back and be like, yeah, they're actually good.
Yeah.
Because I was too in the scene at the time. Like, no, guys, they're just too popular. They're playing on the radio too much. Too many people are wearing those fucking stupid army jackets that I really want, but I won't buy myself on because they're MCR.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. 100%.
My partner went to go see My Chemical Romance this last year on the UK tour.
How was it? Did he say?
Said it was legit. It was
Yeah.
great, and it was like near his hometown as well.
Stop.
And said it was really nice.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was really good, and I was like, actually, I would have quite liked to go, but I feel like I would have seen too many exes.
Yeah.
You know how
That
it
checks.
be.
Oh yeah, dude. That checks out. That checks out. Oh my goodness. Well,
Poops of the week, eh?
pardon?
Poops of the week, yeah.
Poops of the week. Yeah. So that's my poops have been great. I've been dropping big old poops.
Big old deuces.
Yeah. And they've been pretty good clean wipes. Like, before we move on, I have to talk about this. I've been waiting for 2
Please.
weeks. So
Okay.
I cut my own hair, right?
Why is the story starting off this way? What the fuck?
You know that about me, right?
Yeah. And
Okay,
how
so-
is the mullet going?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm working on it. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background here, but that's
No,
not
I'm
what this
excited
is
to find
about.
out. When you let us know, you'll let us know. I respect that.
Yeah. I'm honing it in. But here I am with a surplus of electric razors because they usually last me a $30 electric razor lasts me about a year solidly, right? And then it starts getting worn out, getting a little dull, whatever.
How thick is your hair?
It's super thick.
How deep is your love?
Super deep.
Yeah, carry on.
So a few months ago, I bought one that you could charge and it was wireless. It didn't work that well because it would
I
just
never
go,
do.
my hair's too thick, runs out of batteries too soon. Okay, so I order another $30 one, just plug that bad boy in. Here I am rocking and rolling. There I was. I had some time on my own. I had a couple
Mhm.
beers in me. Vanessa wasn't going to get home for a while. I was just done showering, and I thought to myself, Han, hey, you know where else I have long hair? So
Bummer.
my butthole.
Yeah.
So I trimmed the hairs on my butthole with my wireless trimmer. Because of course I'm not going to use it for anything else ever again, and that's why I haven't done it. So I put the
And it's
little
the motor's worn down, so it feels safer.
well, that's the thing is this one the motor didn't wear down because the battery it didn't work wirelessly for my whole head of hair and my beard and this and that. So it's still
Okay.
sharp enough. It's still sharp enough. I throw in a little 1 gauge thing and I stand
You got a number 1 all over his tushy.
I stand above the tub like this.
Like,
Because
are you in the tub, or are you just,
I'm
like,
in the tub
over
and
it?
I stand on
Okay,
no,
yeah.
and I stand the tub. The tub goes like this. I'm
Yeah.
standing on the tub, like my butthole is above the tub.
So, are your feet in the tub? Are you balancing on the edges of the tub? What? I thought I was doing a funny by talking about that, but that's actually what you did.
Yes,
Fuck
100%.
me.
So there I
Fuck
was,
me.
and then I got into a bit of a squat position because
Oh, yeah,
I'm
you
cheeked up.
gots to.
You
Yeah,
gots
with
to.
that fucking dump of yours, you gotta.
Yeah, you know about it. So
Yeah.
I there I was, and I made sure my shit was fully charged, right? Like I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
yeah,
get
yeah.
one of my cheeks done.
You
And
can't break halfway through.
I just went for it.
Yeah.
And I got most of the hair. Eh, I gotta tell you, dude,
Yeah.
cleanup is both easier and more difficult. So I don't know if I like it or not. So here's the thing. It's been a couple weeks. I've wanted to talk to you about this specifically.
I'm so excited about this. Yeah, continue.
I've generally enjoyed it. I didn't get itchy. I thought I was gonna get itchy. You know, I'll shave the
I know.
front butt area of my crotch,
Oh, I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then you get itchy, and you're like, oh, the butthole, no itch, none. It's been 2 weeks. The hair's got to be growing back by now. No itch, not once. But here's the thing that really got me, because I'm used to the hair, obviously maybe wicking some moisture or giving a texture.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Mhm.
I think I shit my pants because I feel
Mhm.
and I go, I
Yeah.
check, you know, you do
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
check with the white toilet paper, but there's nothing there. I'm just a bit sweaty in my crack hole. So I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can live this hairless butthole life.
I'm surprised that you're saying no itch. That was gonna be my first question because I have been a connoisseur of shaving all up and down here. All
Sure.
up and down here.
Sure.
And my first problem is literally within 2 days, I'm like, this is unbearable. I need to rip my whole butt off.
Itching.
Itchy. So itchy. But this is
But
with like a traditional razor.
that's it. That's it. I gave it a number 1. I gave it a
Ooh.
number 1 guard on there so I didn't go right down to the skin. Maybe that's the
I feel like that's less acceptable. Like having like I mean, I feel like it's not acceptable. Whatever. If I, 'cause I know my boyfriend has a number 1 all over on his butt, I'll be like, what is going on? So maybe it's a gender issue. Maybe this smacks of gender. But no, that's crazy. I feel like
Why could you not do the back with the number 1 and the front with a razor? And
I
then
just want to
get
be
less
real
itch?
clear here is that I have a hairy pussy, so don't even worry about it. But every now and again, when I know I'm gonna get some action from behind, or if I just want to treat myself, I'm like, because my most hair. I'm sorry, I'm just hitting you with the hits
Hello there.
24/7. My hairiest bits of the butt are like just the curve of the butt just before it goes into the
Yes.
crack. Yeah.
Yes.
So I like to just tidy that up every
It's
now
a
and again.
tuft. It's a tuft, right?
It's just a long boy. Like, I found 2-inch hairs there before. I'm like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where sometimes I try and tidy that up. I might get a little further in. I might try and get closer to the hole. It depends. But I'm not doing your method of standing on the bathtub.
That's where you're going wrong.
I'm generally, I find my best work is standing within the confines of the tub,
Sure.
squatting in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
But I've put the plug in, so it's collecting some of the water for me to clean the razor with. There's a bit of
right.
yeah.
That's
Um,
super gross for me.
it is gross.
Yeah.
And this is the same razor that I've used for 5 years. I haven't changed the head. Um,
No.
and you have a real wide stance, and you just got to kind of like
No.
squat and just reach
No.
under and just see what you get.
Bro, just get a butter knife at this point. You'll have more luck. This is unacceptable. This is out of all the things. We've been doing this podcast for 2 years. Out of everything you've said, and lots of it has been disgusting. This is the grossest thing. This is the most egregious offense you have brought to the table is a 5-year-old razor.
All right, guys. This podcast is sponsored by Dollar Shave Club.
If you need to shave your hairy pussy and or asshole,
crack.
Go to dollarshaveclub.eu and
/pants
promo code TPTV today. And you will get a discount on the dollar shaving.
Yell pubes at the screen and you will get a discount on your dollar shaving.
Drink Peepsy as you order this and something might happen. Thank you, Dollar Shave Club.
We all get those Dollar Shave Club adverts, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't believe it. I can't believe you're not respecting my shaving habits here, boy.
No, bro.
It's called being poor. Look it up.
Oh, I don't need to look it up, my friend.
It's called being a tramp. Look it up.
I've cut my hair for over 10 years. I do not need to look it up.
Anyway, forget about my arsehole. Let's talk about yours. So pooping. Since doing it a few weeks ago, what's the ratio of like successful to unsuccessful?
I'm 50-50, baby.
Hair? I'm fully 50-50.
Easy money 50-50, which is the greatest ratio I've had since maybe ever. Maybe ever.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe ever.
So, do you think it's helping them come out smoother, cleaner?
There's more at play than just the hair, right?
I know.
With the big logs. So this is the thing. There's no control group here. There's no control group. I've changed so many things at once. I don't know what's the success.
This is the only anti-science podcast on the net. We don't have a scientific method. We're looking at poops and we're just deciding if they're different colours based purely on our one person's view in a shady bathroom.
Bro,
we're looking at poop. We don't have a control group for poops.
We are 2 weeks from getting an offer from the Daily Wire to become podcasters over there with Ben Shapiro. We are so anti-science.
No way. I won't even tolerate that joke. Fuck that guy.
Let me have the joke. You know I hate Ben
that
Shapiro.
guy with his tiny shiny head.
Bro, I hate that man so much. He gives a bad name for Bens everywhere. I didn't
even register that it was the same name.
That's what I mean. That's how different we are. There needs to be Ben supremacy, and I need to be superior to him. Already I'm taller, objectively more handsome. However,
I was going to be a Ben as well if I was a boy.
Bro, stop. Let's go. This is how we
Hairy
win.
Ben supremacy.
This is how we win. Do you think Ben Shapiro's asshole is really hairy?
Ooh. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it is. I think he thinks that personal care down there is gay, so he doesn't do it.
Oh, I would have said I agree with the first part of that statement, but disagree with the second.
Oh, so he thinks personal care down there is gay, so he does it?
Quite possibly.
I think it depends on what his sister likes.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh, Ben, You're a real piece of shit.
Hands everywhere.
Are real pieces of shit. Pan,
Yeah.
should we... Well, you haven't told me about your poops. Let's talk about your poops. I've been
I
talking
got two
about...
poop stories.
Okay,
First one, update. People who
please.
joined us a few weeks ago will know there was a massive poop outside my house 3 weeks ago.
Yes. We
It
didn't
is
know if it
still
was
there.
human or dog. What?
We did not know if it was human or
You live
dog.
in a city center and it's still there?
It's still there.
Stop.
Yep. Yep.
I thought you were a
So-
socialist country.
Come on. Come on. Even I can't joke about that anymore.
I got great jokes today.
You got big jokes, boy.
They're
You
not.
got Big Ben jokes.
They're big. They're not good.
Rarely are.
That's true.
3 weeks ago, I was walking home from work. Again, I live at the top of a slight hill.
Mhm.
I've been powering up for 100 houses, just really going. And I see a massive poop on the street. It's directly in the centre of the pavement, the sidewalk for Americans. It's the size of a large baby's head. You know that big baby on TikTok? It was his head.
I still haven't seen
That
a
was
big baby
poop.
on TikTok, but I think it's because I'm very anti-baby on my TikTok. I can just imagine a big
Listen,
baby's
no.
head.
Baby zone. You'd be surprised. So this poop is the size of a large baby's head. It's massive. It's like soft enough that it's like shapeless at the bottom, but it's got a little curl to the top.
Just like a
It's
baby's head.
beautiful. Exactly. It's right in the middle of the pavement. So as we discussed last time, if it was a human shit, it would have had to be a squat. He couldn't have leant up against a wall to do it. He or she
Sure.
wasn't, standing in the road where the cars are. That's where cars go. To sort of have a little shelf for the poop to go on in the pavement.
Mhm.
It was massive. It was majestic. It was wonderful. So it's been about 3 weeks since then. The first week, literally days after the podcast, somebody ran a pram through it, and I could tell because it's got like 2 wheels going through it. What do you guys call prams?
A baby
Stroller.
stroller.
Yeah, a stroller.
Yeah.
So you can see the 2 wheels had gone through it. Now, I felt sad about that. Not only was the poop destroyed in its beauty, there's probably just a tired parent out there who now has to clean dog shit off a pram, right?
Sure.
Oh, we're assuming it's dog shit. My sister did say, when it's human. So
Okay.
you just know.
And that was Aaron?
No, that's my sister. The other one, the older one.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, when it's human, which I think is fair enough.
Yeah, that is fair. It breaks my heart a little bit because I
It
want it
does.
to be human. I really want it to be human, but
But
she's right.
It's big for a dog shit too. Like, it's fucking big.
Now,
A
have
big
you
dog?
seen a big dog in your neighborhood?
No.
Okay.
But it is a city. There's people walking past all the time. We're in between like 3 parks, so
I
there's
understand. High probability.
it's still understandable.
Sure.
It's high probability. We're right next to a main road. Like, there's all sorts of reasons that a dog could be walking down here.
Mhm.
So 3 or 4 days after, there's been a stroller through it.
Mhm.
And then a few days after that, it starts crusting over. 'Cause it's been there for long enough.
So it starts
So it gets a
fortifying.
little crust on. It gets a
Yeah.
little crust on it. Yeah,
getting ready for the next pram.
fortifying. So it's got 2 lines through it. So it's got like a cool eyebrow shave in the 90s and a little crust going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Bro, I've always wanted one of those cool eyebrow shaves.
There was a brief period I really wanted an eyebrow piercing.
Oh, we all did for a second.
Yeah, and I'm
stopped
really glad
doing
I didn't.
drugs.
But I was like, I want to look like a member of Korn. Yeah. So later on, a bike trail goes through it, like a full bike print
After
through
the
it.
crusting.
After the crusting. So it's kind of spread it out a little bit.
Mhm.
It was soft underneath but crusted on top. And also further down the street, when that wheel has then come back down again, there's been more poop. So it's been spread.
I understand.
That's physics. We understand science on this pod, but we reject it.
That's true. If you keep saying that, I'm gonna keep referencing the Daily Wire. I gotta let you know. It is impossible for me not to.
Paper is not a horse. I know horse shit.
Horse
And
shit
there's
is
no
so much
horses around
different.
here.
Yeah.
There's
yeah,
no
yeah.
horses around here. It's deep city. And then basically it just keeps crusting. It keeps going. It's now got 3 lines through it, like a really cool person with an eyebrow shave. And I walk past it every day. Like I was starting to leave the house, like because I was working from home a few days in a row, and I started to leave the house just to see what was going on with the shit. Like
course.
I was like, I'm gonna walk to the shop, but the main reason
Is what's going on with the
is to
shit.
look at the shit.
Sure.
Yeah. My partner was going out for a run, and I was like, "Can you tell me about what's going on with the shit?" Though?
Yes.
Like I just wanted to know. Like when the pram wheels went through, I was so excited to get home and tell everybody what happened. And it's been slowly degrading, but we've also not had a lot of rain. It's been quite sunny and surprisingly here.
Yeah.
So it's really drying out and it's baking. And so now currently it is just a dark stain on the pavement with like 4 big dry blocks on top of it. Just
Okay. Yep.
loosely connected to
Because
the pavement.
it's been split up so many times. Now it's fragmented into
It's
4
cracking.
quadrants
Yep.
that are trying to fortify on their own to survive.
The 4 humours. Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
course.
that's my big shit update.
Oh my god, amazing! Absolutely fantastic. It's quite incredible when we can observe something so beautiful and perfect in nature in real time. You know, very rarely do we, as individual humans, get the opportunity to have such a observation and we're so lucky that you're sharing it with us, Han. So thank you.
Honestly, no,
Yeah.
thank you. I quite often lament that I want to be just a monk living in a monastery, brewing beer and maybe like observing some things and then making a theory about it.
Oh.
Non-scientific, of course.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is my moment. I was just having a theory about poops and how they react in the wild.
100%. And I please continue
I found
updating us.
peace.
This has been great.
No, I found peace in it. I think it's the end days for this poop. I think even if somebody steps in it or wheels over it now, it's just going to be spread among the universe. So, but it's been really nice to share that with you.
Yeah, and thank you. As we touched on earlier, with everything, in this universe that we know, this too shall pass. The poop shall pass. So
the good and the bad.
Without loss, how can we enjoy life?
I do have a second poop story though.
Please.
Personal this time.
Please.
Like I haven't talked about poop enough for the past 15 minutes.
We're going on half this entire podcast so far as poop, and I think that's a great ratio.
Well, we started late, so that's fine. So we'll get those numbers up. The reason I talked about the big shit on the street a few weeks ago is because my shits ain't been right. I have not been pooping regularly for weeks. When I do, it's unsatisfying, it's sloppy, it's greasy, I'm not enjoying it. It's been bad. However, Tuesday this week, I was going to the cinema after work.
Classic
I work in the city centre. Classic me. Love the movies.
What were you watching?
I went to see Women Talking.
Sure. And what did they talk about?
Let me tell you.
No.
Them women be talking.
I bet.
Yeah, it was really good. It's like an Oscar contender. It's about a Mennonite, like a Mennonite group where like a bunch of the women just kept getting woken up, having been raped.
Oh my god. We are on YouTube and Facebook now, so we have to censor the R word.
Okay.
Unfortunately, but okay, we're deep into it. We're deep enough into it. We shouldn't.
It's about a movie. It's about the context of the movie. It's a real thing that happened.
Yeah.
It's really good. I would really recommend it. So it's them deciding what to do when it comes out that it's actually the men of the colony that are doing it instead of like a demon.
Surprise!
They thought it had been a demon that had been doing the assaults.
Yes.
So the devil, perhaps. It's great. I enjoyed it. However.
Oh, and they talk, and that's how they figure it out.
Yeah, they're all just like, what are we going to do with our people?
The demon R wording everyone.
Yeah, and women, they love to yap. My wife, she's always yapping.
Bro.
Are we really on Facebook? That's crazy.
Yeah, unconnected to any of our personal accounts. And I know you didn't want to go on Facebook, but someone else has got to see this. And it gets us around when we post on Twitch and it saves it. Twitch will delete after a certain amount of time, but on Facebook and YouTube, it gives us 2 extra backups. And so I don't have to download it onto PC every time.
So now I'm vibing on Facebook because you're lazy.
Because I can't buy a
Smart.
big enough hard drive.
Smart. Yes, smart. I'm not lazy. Planning ahead.
This was a
No, it's fine.
necessity out of yeah.
No, it's fine. Yeah, no, I enjoyed the movie, but I had to kill time before the pics before going to the movies because I know that you have a problem with me saying going to the cinema.
I like cinema. No, I like it. That's one of the ones I really like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You're going to the cinema.
aluminium is disgusting, but I like cinema.
Vitamin D.
Vitamins, I'm neutral. You know what we should do one day? Just go through all the words that are same but different and decide which ones are which one we're gonna do. Do you know what I mean? I think we
like
really need
either
to
side, yes or no.
yeah unify. Like I like pram rather than
Do you?
stroller. I prefer pram, but I think it's not as popular.
It's short for perambulator.
Stroller's better.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
yeah, I take that.
Sounds like some kind of dumbass Frankenstein word.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
Yeah, so I'm killing time. I've gone
Yeah.
to the bookshop. I'm at the station. Shout out to the toilets at the top of New Street Station. Not the ones in the station, they suck, but the ones in the shopping centre above.
Oh,
They got those big ceilings. It's half term, so the kids are all in the toilets fucking about. There was enough people. It's busy in the city centre. There was enough people coming in and out of the toilets. I had my headphones in, so I was less nervous, and I did my first satisfying shit of weeks. Shout out to New Street Station toilets, baby. I love it. I was shitting all over the place. Okay, I wasn't. I was shitting in one place, and it was a satisfying log. And I just want to shout out to me and my guts for finally getting there after weeks of turmoil. We're finally back together, and I'm proud of us.
I'm proud of you too. I think that's amazing. Hell yeah. So it was a public shit. So back on track in public.
Yeah, I'm not very good at public shits as well.
Han, show me someone who's good at public shits. I'm not going to want to hang out with them. That's a psychopath at best.
Yeah, you're right.
Give me someone that enjoys public shits. I'm not going to let them meet my family. You know, because someone's going to die.
Yeah.
Who would enjoy
I slightly enjoyed that one because it was so much relief.
Well,
but it wasn't that I go out of my way to enjoy an outdoor.
I mean, at the base of it, you can enjoy a public shit. I've enjoyed many, but I don't think to myself, I'm looking forward to shitting in public. Like that's never something. I'm looking forward to the relief, of course. If it's good, that's a bonus. But I never think if home or public, I'm never picking public.
Yeah, no, you're
unless
absolutely
there's a
right.
big party at my house.
But it was a very conscious. Like I was feeling myself getting nervous, and at the time, and I was like, "Fuck it, you don't know these people."
So
actually the busyness helped because there was people just in and out of the things next to me.
Yep.
It's got like really tall cubicles that have got like a high ceiling and like very thick wooden doors.
Oh, so you could hang out in there all day.
Oh yeah, and I have.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So I'm just proud of myself. That's 2 poop stories for the price of 1 here on this Thursday evening, morning.
Let's heckin' go, guys. Let's heckin' go.
Hello there.
I don't know. I was looking for a really nice soundbite and I couldn't figure it out, okay?
You went for Obi-Wan?
Yeah, because what would you rather this?
My wife's name.
I didn't hear it, sorry.
Fucking mouth.
Keep my poops out my motherfucking ass.
Ben, welcome in. How are you today? Han, should we take a quick bio break so I can pee?
Quick break?
And then maybe get to the subject that I just haven't wanted to talk about at all, but I think it's important to have a reasonable discussion about things like this, and I really don't want to talk about it, but I think we should.
Yeah, I am going to call you a cunt, but let's talk about it after we've
I
peed.
don't think you are going to call me a cunt, but let's get to it. I'm going to...
Do we have to censor the C word now?
No, I won't. No, I'm not going to not say
Ban
cunt.
me.
I'm not going to not say cunt, YouTube. You bitch. But we can. I don't know. Can we say? I don't think we can. I think those are the two no words.
Oh, the daft cunts.
The R and the C. I think the R and the C are.
This is going to be really hard for me, Ben, but I'm going to do it for you.
God, I don't know if I can do the C. I'll just get the bleep in. And then make it really.
Can we say
fun.
come?
We can say come. If we couldn't say come, then we're not allowed on YouTube. That would be disgusting. This is an educational scientific podcast, okay? And we must talk about
science.
We must talk about cummies.
Yeah.
We won't talk about and I won't call anyone a guys, we'll be right back, and when we do get back, we're going to have a discussion about the tumultuous game Hogwarts Legacy. And how that has affected society, our community, and everyone around the world. Please stick with us, my friends. We will be right
back. Company to please. There ain't a key, no need for entry. In the box, but I'm thinking out of it. Couldn't cross, cause we always make it tick. A lot of box, but it's bound to fit. Cause we gon' make room when we shout big. Hey! In the box, but I'm thinking out of it. Couldn't cross, cause we always make it tick. A lot of box, but it's bound to fit. Cause we gon' make room when we shout big. Cause we gon' make room. If not, then we out of the box. It's just unorthodox, the way we shout big. Hear me out of the box when we shout big. If not, then we out of the box. It's just unorthodox, the way we shout big. Hear me out of the box when we shout big. Hey. Oxbridge. I just do what I do. See me? I just do what I do. Man, I just do what I do. Don't know about you. I just do what I do. Check. That's the intro. See that? Yeah. I just do what I do. See me? I just do what I do. Yo, check. Let me flip this script. I feel privileged for all who can witness this. I am close to divine. Know the moment is mine, need no omen or sign. Providing a back sound to all the squares that ask around. We getting it. My skills pay me. Trying to get a million, baby, with an adopted flow that God gave me. Tell whoever runners that they spot is temporary till I take it, it's mine. I'm selfish. Yo, will tell Miss I'm on my wealth tip. So when we cash out soon, I'm just investing. No yes men. I've been a legend since before mom and dad had me and was best friends. I chew through comp, don't test them. I chew on tracks, cause after that I bless them. I just do what I do. You see me? I just do what I do. I just do what I do. I don't know about you. I just do what I do. Check. I just do what I do. See me? I just do what I do. Feel me? I just do what I do. I don't know about you. I just do what I do. Listen to this rhyming exhibition. I'm something you ain't seen, like an honest politician. This ain't just head hitting. A lot of pinched nerves on necks are caused by bars that bless spitting. Wait, don't hate. I just move how I move. I can't describe what it is. I just do what I do. I am better than any rapper from here to wherever, and my legacy will harass my offsprings forever. I flow and write better than any. I'm the hottest, and trust me, that's not being conceited. That's being modest. I'm being honest. Pop up my collar. School of hard knocks. I graduated with honors. I just do what I do. You see me? I just do what I do. I just do what I do. I don't know about you. I just do what I do. Check. I just do what I do. See me? I just do what I do. Feel me? I just do what I do. I don't know about you. I just do what I do. I just do what I do. You see me? I just do what I do. I just do what I do. I don't know about you. I just do what I do. Check. I just do what I do. See me? I just do what I do. Feel me? I just do what I do. I don't know about you. I just do what I do.
We are almost back. Oh my god, can we go live before you do that?
Wait a minute, motherfucker.
Can we just... Can we let them... Let me know. They can hear us. Let me know when you're ready. And guys, we are We are back. Han's about to do something incredible. If you're just listening, Han is. Oh God, bro, you got braces on.
I know. My orthodontist is gonna cry if he sees this. That's why I was saying, like.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I see
shit.
the hesitation. And if you hesitate, you're
Well, you can't hesitate. Exactly. That's when you chip your tooth.
Yeah. You just call it a tooth?
Yeah. What would you call it?
A tooth?
Okay. Oh shit.
That was wild, bro.
Yeah. None of yous can tell my orthodontist that I just opened that. I didn't even chip the. Oh, king shit. My hot orthodontist who has the who has a goatee now because he's obviously going through something.
Oh no. No. And poor guy.
Definitely.
British folks shouldn't have goatees. I don't know why, Han, but it just doesn't feel right.
I'm trying to think of a British person who should have a goatee and I can't.
I
Prince
can.
Andrew?
The second I said that, I pictured an actor, and I can't remember his name, but okay, some of them can. You gotta be old, and you gotta have kind of either blonde or reddish hair that's gone white.
Or young, and it's in the past, like Simon Pegg.
Yes. 90s.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey,
It's
Han,
happening.
have you have you heard about this new Hogwarts game?
I can't stop hearing about it. Ben, what's your feelings about Harry Potter in general?
I would love to hear from you first.
About my feelings for Harry Potter?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Harry Potter hit at just the right time for me. It was definitely like primary school. Everybody was reading the books. I remember there being like a World Book Day when I was in like year 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And a teacher dressed up as Dumbledore and a kid dressed up as Harry Potter, and they were the only ones.
Okay.
And I didn't know what it was at the time. And I remember getting bigger from there. Me and my friends used to pretend to be different characters from Harry Potter books/movies.
Yep.
It was a big part of my life. I think I like to, in light of everything that's going on, I think I like to reduce the impact that it did have on me as a kid, I think. But it did. It was a really important part of my life. It was the way that a lot of my friends actually got into reading.
Yep.
Like I was always a kid who read.
Sure.
Not to brag, but so we got into a lot of reading. And it was like a really big part of my life, I guess. Like I was really into it. Read all the books. Read all the books on like opening day or whatever. Like I remember my great grandma would always buy them for me. She'd be like, "Don't let anybody else buy them for you. I have to buy them for you," which was really nice. And she'd go to each bookshop because she wasn't on the internet, and also like the internet there wasn't really Amazon yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she would just go to every bookshop and see what was the best deal she could get for the book. Because she loved reading, but she also loved a bargain. So yeah, I think really important. And then like obviously that it's kind of waned just through adulthood anyway. And then I think in light of J.K. Rowling being a massive turd, has waned further because I don't respect her as a person.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think some people should have used their fame for good, and she's not, even if she thinks she is.
Yeah.
How about you? How do you feel about Harry Potter?
Harry Potter in general, I kind of mirror your sentiment. On it, and I'm not just saying that. I mirror your sentiment because I had a really similar experience. I was a non-reader, very dyslexic, very ADHD. I had a difficult time even reading a whole sentence without mixing it all up. So it's funny because I read someone tweet, obviously dunking on J.K. Rowling, but dunking on Harry Potter, dunking on J.K. Rowling through the books, said the Harry Potter books, or I always thought the Harry Potter books were for the kids that weren't good at reading. And so that was me.
No, but it is true though. There was a lot of kids at school who wouldn't have read otherwise, and I think that's admirable.
That's how I started my journey. I was about the same age of Harry Potter in his first year when the first book came out. So my mom bought me this book because they couldn't figure out how to get me to read. So it's really interesting because it started me enjoying literature. And obviously I've fallen off. Well, I really did enjoy. I just wasn't properly diagnosed with any of any of the problems I have with in context to reading.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then of course we've talked about it really briefly. I've had a tumultuous relationship like with my dad in regards to reading because he'd always get mad at me for spending too much time reading when that was my Harry Potter phase.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, always get mad at me for reading when I should be outside doing something.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You had one of those dads.
Yeah, yeah, and we've grown and I very much have forgiven for any mistakes of the past and vice versa since then. So I don't want to harp on that. But I had a good relationship with the books. There's never a point where I'd read one of the weirdly racist things that J.K. Rowling put in the books, and I thought this isn't racist. It was really obvious at the time, like any student if you guys aren't familiar, really I think any and all students that aren't white
Mm.
have a very racist just name, let alone
Mm.
description. Cho Chang, Kingsley Shacklebolt. They kind of it
I
goes.
can honestly say, like, as a kid, that went over my head.
Oh
And I say this as like, I mean, I was a bit younger than you, much
yeah,
younger because I'm young and beautiful.
stop it.
Um, and which even though I grew up in kind of quite a liberal household, just kind of flew over my head a
Oh,
lot.
see, it always rang weird to me, but I continued on with my life. I thought they were dumbing it down for kids, being like, "You want me to know that Cho Chang is Asian, so you gave her kind of a racist name."
Yeah, I
Um,
guess.
that's
Yeah,
my
and there was
12-year-old brain, right? That's how it was working.
I definitely noticed that there was like the twins, the Patil twins, and I was like, oh yeah, they're definitely like Asian, which
Sure.
I think in the UK when we say Asian we mean like Indian subcontinent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is
Um,
yeah.
because that's and I had a lot of Asian girls at school with me, so I was like, oh yeah, they're definitely that. But like the rest of it, I guess I didn't really realize as much. And I was definitely like a Tumblr kid as well as a
Oh,
teenager. Like so it was definitely I wasn't necessarily in the Harry Potter fandom, but I always really enjoyed um it was such a big world that had been imagined and had laid
yes.
out to us, as much as the flaws of that they had, that I really enjoyed, like, other people's interpretations of that, and I always really enjoyed, like, again, not really a big fan fiction reader, but I really enjoyed, like, those random little like, Tumblr or Facebook posts where somebody was like, "Imagine that so and so did this in this world," or like, "Do you think that this is an allegory for this?" or whatever, like, I don't
Bro,
know.
let me so just before your time, just before Tumblr, Yahoo, the website, of course,
I'm aware of it, yeah.
was bigger than Google, and they had something called the one of the first social media platforms, and no one talks about this, and I always talk
Yeah.
about it, was Yahoo Clubs. So it worked very similar to Facebook. It was long before
Oh, yeah?
Facebook. You could have your own page, you could have your own profile, and I was part of a conglomerate of fan fiction youths. So I wrote a many Harry Potter fan fiction.
Did you? We've got a literaturist in our midst.
Many hours of writing Harry Potter fan fiction. Organizing entire schools, running classes as a 12, 13-year-old online. So I really enjoyed it. I got really into the world. When the movies started coming out for me, I kind of fell off. The writing changed, and got more. J.K. was obviously writing to make movies.
Oh, yeah.
It's very apparent. You can see the size of the book after number 3. That's when they started making the movies, right? So she was writing to make movies, and I didn't really care for it. And then I just kind of grew out of it. I'd still, I think by book 6, there was no more lines, and you could just wait for it to come out and go to the 7-Eleven and get them. So the magic was gone before it was this huge event when a new Harry Potter book would come out, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was this crazy massive event. All the right-wing Christians hated it, so I loved it even
Oh,
more,
yeah.
right? That's
Mhm.
something we often do forget
We
about.
don't talk about, yeah.
And then of course, as times moves on, I never loved the movies. I thought they were fine, but I was always the literature kid when it came to Harry Potter, right? So I always liked the books. I was that nerd. I like the books more.
It's really nice to talk to you about it because even just now, like you were saying, all the books got bigger after book 3, and I just like as you were saying that, I was like remembering like, oh, I think I took number 2 on holiday with me, like one of the first like foreign holidays I'd ever been on with my family. Like
Mhm.
I think we were in like Portugal somewhere, and like I remember like staying up late to read, even though we had like a trip planned the next day or something, and like I was like, I don't want
Yeah.
to. And I was sharing a room with my sister, so I don't know, like, and like I said, my nan would always buy me the books, and she bought me 3 copies of the 4th one because I wrecked 2 separate copies of the 4th book. Because it was so massive. I dropped the first one down the
Yep.
stairs and it split clean in 2. The second one was paperback and I dropped it in the bath because I was such a little reading in the bath girl.
Yeah, of course you were.
You know me, I'm all
Yeah.
about relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just reminded me of all those things. And like the 5th one, I think I was still in primary school when the 5th one came out because I seem to remember everybody just like dead silent in the playground. Like
Reading.
I must have been in like year 6 because everybody there was only like 3 benches on the playground, but everyone had like a little section
Yeah.
to like sit and read on, and
Yeah.
like at school, and like the people had snuck it in. And I was like, and a real like no spoilers vibe as well, like just because. And I
Oh.
was proud of being a fast reader, so I was like, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I need to know what's happening. Can I read over your shoulder? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, like,
Yeah.
it's just really nice to kind of remember the nice parts of it.
Sure.
Yeah, and the movies, I liked the movies. They were fine. I took that same grandma to see the first one. She didn't really go to the movies that much, and I remember her being really scared of when Harry goes to the restricted section and he opens
Mhm.
that book and it screams at you, and she was like, "Oh!" and she grabbed me. Um,
Yeah.
it's
The
just really nice to
restricted
remember.
section, crazy.
Bitch, we got all these books that are not allowed for kids. Let's put them in the kids.
Yep. Yeah.
Let's put them with the kids.
So yeah, that was I had a very I think I had a similar kind of parallel running
Yeah.
of views on it, and then of course turf brain dum dum JK exposes herself to the world and continues on her goddamn tirade of destroying a legacy that would have eventually been destroyed by the subtle racism that she had in there, but she's
But again,
really
this is Britain, where sort of racism is everywhere and just kind of not celebrated, but very much kind of expected, as we discussed earlier. Like there just seems to be a certain level of racism that's just being British. It's crazy.
yeah, and that's the like
So she could have got away with it, is what I'm saying. And not
okay.
that that's the right thing to
Yeah,
do, but
I
she
don't think
probably could have.
I don't think she would have after the last 4 years we've had on the planet in developed nations, and I think something would have come out, but maybe not as much maybe not as much targeted anger and frustration and hurt as there is now.
Yeah, we're
Uh,
talking about Cho Chang on Tumblr in 2012. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. So
Um, Interesting. It's interesting that you bring up the right wing Christians hating the book.
mhm.
Because I personally, I don't know how everybody else feels about this. I draw a line between that and like her actions now directly. Because I think
You
I
think
don't
they're
think the right wing.
connected?
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I just think her behaviour is connected. I think. I don't think the right wing Christians really had a point that like, oh, you're talking about wizards and witches, so it must be Satanism.
Sure.
But when you spend like quite a lot of your early career fending off baseless sort
Yeah.
of criticism, when people start coming at you with very well-founded criticism, it can be hard to hear it, I think.
So, oh.
That's my view on the situation, is that
Oh.
like when you yeah, in the 90s, a lot of people who had a lot of criticism in the 90s, maybe unreasonably, are now turds who not turfs, just general turds.
Turds with a D, not with an F. And
Just general turds, who maybe can't hear the criticism now because they've got so used to. And I'm sure they had, like, I'm sure she had to just block out the criticism at some point because she was getting so much shit from like, or just nonsense, you know?
so are you implying, and I know you're not, but are you implying that she has an excuse to be a TERF because of her early experience in her career with
I'm not
Christians.
saying that she has an excuse. I'm just saying I can understand why when somebody, but blasted into a position of kind of privilege and power,
Mm-hmm.
money, fame, and all that stuff, who is constantly getting criticized, maybe in ways that are unwarranted, could then close themselves off to legitimate criticism and make being criticized or being a bad boy like part of their persona, right? And
Yeah,
that could help. Then that could maybe lean you into when people are actually making legitimate criticisms of you. You could just, I'm not saying she probably had those beliefs anyway. Like she's shown herself up to be a weird little liberal anyway. Um, but I think that that's what makes it hard to kind of come back from that stuff is that defensiveness and the
sure.
ignoring of it, I suppose. I don't know. That's
Yeah,
my that's my view of it.
yeah, and I think just as we're like ramping up to get into the meat and potatoes of this, I agree with the sentiment that you can be like molded to have a improper or a somewhat negative reaction to something because something negative has happened to you before. I guess what I would
Yeah.
say is I don't think that's a good excuse, and I know that's what you're saying as well. And I think it's just so frustrating to see because I think that's the same excuse that people that are racist oftentimes use. Well, I was raised this way. Well, it happened because I had this negative experience, with this group of people here. I think it's the classic trope of how to be horrible to a giant group of individuals. And I think what's interesting about JK's horribleness is it's very pointed towards one direction, which I think kind of for her gives in her mind possibly gives her more power, and it's because she's like, well, I'm not just saying I dislike you in general. I'm not disliking
Mm.
trans people in general. I dislike these things, which I don't agree with her disliking of those things.
Mm.
But I think for her maybe that's giving her a bit of gumption and in her mind a bit of an excuse, to be horrendous.
Yeah, maybe. Or it can be the way that you get into an idea, and then if you continue to get pushback on it, it kind of entrenches you in whatever your reaction to that is, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we both liked Harry Potter, on the come up before
Mhm.
understanding turf brain is a disease. JK turfs it out, which is, of course, trans exclusionary radical feminism, and turf isn't a feminist, in my opinion, anyways. But
No, but
we're.
they couch their beliefs in protecting what they call real women, which I think it's clear from our past pods and things are saying that we're both very pro the trans struggle.
Yes,
And I think that while they may not believe that somebody who's trans is a real woman, they're still very much part of the same struggle against the powers that be, the patriarchy, whatever you want to call it. Like they're still very not much not profiting from the structures of the way things are.
sure.
I think that's the fairest way to put
I think
it.
that's all reasonable. And something as we're talking about this, I'm so confused at Rowling's stance, at Joanne's stance, because it
Mm,
doesn't make sense, man. And this is what kind of really bothered me about this whole video game situation is it doesn't make sense to be a snake eating its own goddamn tail when there are a million there's billions of people that are really actively trying to harm, this for JK, this harm women in general, and then you had
mm,
to go after a subsection, of women because you don't think they're
mhm,
real women, but then there's other people actively trying to harm you, JK, you goddamn bitch, you dummy. Her anger and her voicing it just doesn't make sense to me and is so frustrating. But again, I've wanted to preface this whole conversation with the fact that understand and respect that I am so far removed from actually being affected by this. Um,
Yeah.
I get I'm just a talking head, and I really don't have a say in anything. When it comes to this whole situation.
Yeah, you
Um,
don't have skin in the game, right?
I don't have skin in the game, which I just want to vocally recognize.
Yeah.
Which obviously will alter anyone's opinion if you don't have skin in the game. So I recognize that.
Oh, but
But
we love having opinions.
God damn it, what am I gonna do? Not have an opinion?
We both love and hate having opinions. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, why do I got them? Because I'm right. I'm fucking right. And Joanne's a fucking idiot, bro. So dumb, and it doesn't make sense.
She could have
Even at
posted and made so much money. Like, yeah.
bro,
Sorry, carry on.
all of that aside, her completely sinking an entire industry, the industry of Harry Potter. Essentially just sinking the whole goddamn thing and doubling down every time someone says anything. It's so strange and so frustrating and
Mm.
needless to say, I didn't buy Hogwarts Legacy hand. Did you?
No, that's mostly because my laptop is dog shit and wouldn't run it. But no, I wouldn't have bought it anyway. I don't, yeah, I don't think I personally like anything enough to support it that way, and I think we're on different sides of this argument, right?
I
Like,
don't think
I
so.
don't maybe not different.
Honestly,
Okay.
I think we're on the same side. Now
No,
that
I
we
wouldn't.
yeah.
I wouldn't have bought it. And I think we had this conversation at the time with my partner. I think we'd gone to the pub like the day or the day after it had been released, and it just ended up coming into conversation.
Yeah.
And we were just like, I guess if you're gonna buy it, just do it. If you're making it a statement, that's kind of the problem. That was the opinion I had like on early game day of just being like, if you're gonna make it part of your personality, that is a problem.
Yes.
Like, if you're gonna buy
Yes.
it, just do it. Don't I mean, I know there's a lot of arguments. Again, we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube right now, like
Yeah.
streamers who, felt that they had to stream it to make money from it or that's part of their job. There's arguments to be made on both sides of that. I haven't bought it. I don't want to buy it. I don't care about it enough to buy it, despite having been a big fan in the past.
Sure.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's funny because I know I was like kind of teasing a lot of stuff on Twitter, and everyone's gonna be angry. And I think so. Let me be very clear. All my past tweets and everything talking about that was I think everyone's gonna be angry because I think everyone's a fucking idiot and everyone's wrong.
Yeah.
I think every single fucking person involved in this situation is completely wrong and a silly
We're
little
wrong
goof.
now
I'm
by passing judgment on it. We are now wrong as well.
100%.
We're profiting
Everyone's an
from it as
idiot.
well.
Everyone's a dumb idiot about this. And it boils down to a few things. First of all, if you're going to buy the game, I think you should have shut the fuck up about it. I think everyone
Yeah.
should just shut the fuck up and play the game quietly if you wanted to. I don't think you should have bought the game, but if you needed
if
to
you're
buy the
gonna-
game, shut the fuck up about it. Secondly, don't go hate rating people. The hate.
What's this mean?
Oh, bro, there's a bunch of not everyone, but a bunch of streamers.
Literally everybody in the world.
Literally everyone
Has
that
been doing this
streamed.
without me,
Literally
and they
everyone.
didn't tell me.
Literally everyone that streamed this game.
Why does
not
everyone
everyone.
hate me? No,
There
carry on.
was you might not remember a summer ago there was a bunch of bots that would come in and just spam any streamer that had LGBTQ, any BLM stuff. They would hate
Yeah.
people. So the same thing kind of started happening with the Hogwarts Legacy, but it was the opposite. So people coming in and trashing small streamers, I guess, for playing the game, which I thought was stupid. That being said, I think that the stories on that was blown out of proportion as well. I think
Yeah.
a couple of groups did it, and I don't think it represented the entire community, the entire trans community. I don't think every trans person was going around ripping, openly in chat, and trying to get people's streams taken down, reporting them. I don't think everyone was doing that.
Yeah.
The people that were doing it, I think, are idiots. I think are silly little gooses, and it's the snake eating the tail situation. It's one thing to come to someone and say, "Hey, bro, this affected me in this way. Can we talk about it?" Sure.
Mm.
But to kind of blast off in this, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. As I'm talking about this, I was like, ah. But sometimes,
No, I feel the same
I'm a
because it
supporter of a
is one of
violent
these.
revolution as well. So
Yeah.
well, I don't know,
There's never
man.
gonna be a right way to assert change to a system that wants you dead, I think is the main thing. And while I'm with you, I don't think necessarily it's the right thing to do is to, like, like, as you were saying, maybe going in and
Sure.
attacking people for doing this or whatever. I can also understand that when, um, in the real world, a lot of people's rights are being rolled back, not just generally in the UK anyway, a lot of people's rights are being rolled back, period.
Mhm.
Trans rights specifically.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I hate saying period talking about UK politics, like, period. We call it a full stop here. Um,
We full stop better than period.
yeah,
I
that's
think.
the vote. Tick
I
on
think.
full stop.
Thank you, Katie.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Um,
Um, yeah, but when it's so personal and when it feels so personal, it's hard to react to things rationally, I
yeah.
think, as well. And it's very easy to be led into kind of like mob mentality, right?
And I
And it's something that I worry about a lot with, like, my sort of, when you're used to feeling like an outsider or on the opposition to the mainstream, it can be hard to then assess within the opposition, you know what I mean?
sure.
Like, we're all against whatever. Yeah, you see what I'm trying to say?
What happens when you go from counterculture to culture, and now there's another counterculture
Yeah.
against you? So and you're so used to being the counterculture.
And, it's assuming it's a binary as well, which is very
Sure.
stupid for
Sure.
trans people, is to assume that everything is a binary anyway, because actually, yes, I think it is, we live in, a classist
Yeah.
patriarchy. There's all sorts of race, uh, class, gender things that are acting on us at all
Inequality.
moments of our time, inequalities, and there's definitely, what's the one, there's like a class or there's definitely like a power in either side of
Separation.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And again, I'm saying this as a white cis woman, relatively privileged, but quite fairly working class.
Yeah,
So
you're
I
working
know what
class.
it
We're
feels
working
like.
class, dog. We're poor as shit. We are so fucking
Yeah.
poor.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, yeah. But it's just, so I feel like I can speak about this from my own perspective of, like, feeling like an outsider class-wise,
Mm.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to react in a way that the establishment thinks is appropriate anyway, when they're already hell-bent on you not existing. But it's also really hard to do it when it's really personal and it feels like it's an affront to your own personal tastes, or values or existence, like, it's your own. Yeah, I think I said it.
There's a point for me. I have a few more things because I just think it's such a
No, I've got loads to say.
okay. There's a point for me that I was getting frustrated because I just again my stance is everyone is a fucking idiot in this, and I maintain that because I think it got or is not blown out of proportion because I feel like that sentence diminishes the struggle, trans people
Yeah.
struggle against J.K. Rowling as an individual human being. Um, and I don't want to get into this. So I've this has not left my mind for 2 weeks.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, I cannot stop thinking about it because I'm so mad. I'm so mad at everyone. I'm so mad at everyone's views towards this situation because I I don't know what the solution is. I don't know. And usually I'm a pretty logical person. I'm like, well, this is pretty cut and dry, and I can do, with a bit of not black. I'm obviously I live in the gray, but I can lean towards something that makes me feel good, and I think is the right thing to do. Now, I think everyone should have shut the fuck up a bit more about it. and we could have got on. And as I'm saying that, I'm the old white man saying, "Stop talking about things. Why are you even talking about it? You're making more problems." It's so not talking about things doesn't solve the
Hmm.
problem. So what do we do? What do we do? We
Yeah, then you
can't
get
not
into
talk
like
about
a
it. Talking
then you
about
get
it
into a don't ask, don't tell situation.
exactly.
You don't want that.
I guess as I'm screaming and getting super heated about this, it could have been a little more beneficial for people to give people a bit of breathing room during conversations. Something that I guess something
Yeah.
that was really upsetting for me was seeing people, especially like people we know personally, and that's why I'm so passionate about this. People
Yeah.
we know in this community talking in absolutes. Both sides of the spectrum of this, or both sides of this conversation. People
Mm.
were talking in absolutes. If you do this, it means this. And it's just not a great way to look at human beings because yes, our actions do, kind of determine, sorry, how we're perceived in the world, but it doesn't mean it's finite. Like if I do one thing, and it comes back to our discussion earlier at the start of pod about redemption, about the racist groom. You know, do we give
Harry Potter
people
and the racist groom.
Harry Potter and the racist groom? I don't know,
Yeah,
dude.
it's hard. I think what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's hard to talk in absolutes and allow room for people to be wrong or to grow or to change or to.
Yeah. And
Is that kind of what you're saying?
it is drawing a so drawing a line in the sand, especially for someone that you know personally, I think is and doing it publicly instead of talking to them. Like how you did, you spoke to the bride. You didn't speak in absolute you
Yeah, but I definitely like spoke to some people. Not, I mean, not on Twitter. I wasn't talking shit, but I definitely spoke to some people who knew both of us and was like, "What the fuck? What should I do?" Or like, "That was
sure.
totally fucked up," Like,
So you fielded it. You did. Yeah. All I'm saying is you didn't get on Facebook and say, "Hey guys, if you have a racist husband, don't give me." I don't know. I think there's just better ways to go
no,
about
but
things.
but you're right. Similarly, I drew a line in the sand with that conversation with her.
Sure.
And it's hurt. I was open to the fact that it might hurt me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know if this actually relates to the conversation, but like, yeah, like it is definitely like, um, things are things feel more present than ever. Things feel more important than ever because of kind of the times we're living in. Um, and maybe a different Hannah in a different time might not have had that conversation and just kind of let that slide.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like feeling like that, but I also know that context is important, nuance is important, and like maybe I would have done that. So yeah, um I did draw a line in the sand there and I had to deal with the consequences
Sure.
of being so. I mean, I guess not what was the word you used for like I made a big rule?
Talking in absolutes.
Yeah, so I did
Yeah.
talk in absolutes and I said, after the wedding I don't want anything to do with
Sure.
your fiance/husband.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, how would that have applied if it wasn't an individual and was an entire group of people? Would you have had the same kind of approach?
I think I wouldn't have had the same kind of approach, but I definitely would it would alter something in my mind when I'm thinking about that type of person,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Because I do think that, like, in this case of racism, I do have an opinion of racists and the people who
Sure.
enable racism and the people who side with racists.
Sure.
So while my friend has said, again, this is a single person, while my friend has said she doesn't want it to affect our relationship, it's going to.
Of course. Of course.
Because it's going to have an effect. And I don't think it helped that a majority, at least in my opinion, because I spend a lot of time on this site, a lot of this conversation was happening on Twitter, which is, I think, categorically designed to make people angry and like just fucking argue with each other.
Yeah.
and see the
Yes.
worst takes. And I mean, I think it was always doing this, but also particularly after Musk, our favorite bad boy. I feel like I'm seeing the worst of Twitter a lot more, or maybe just the world is worse. But
Now I don't. The world's definitely not worse. We're getting different spectrums of evil, I think, as we get spectrums of good as things go on, and I think
yeah,
it's tougher as class divide continues to have reasonable discourse because our communication is literally being bought by billionaires, aka Elon Musk, who is an open transphobe, which I found. I don't know, man. It was frustrating for me. It's frustrating to see people actively using a site more that is run by a billionaire transphobe, arguing transphobia against a millionaire transphobe because someone with 3 people watching their stream was playing a game that will give a couple cents on the
yeah,
dollar to J.K. Rowling, who is already she's set, and I'm not. So, but then again, on the flip side, it's 2 weeks, man. My mind has been doing this for 2 weeks. On the other side, I'm like, fuck that bitch. She shouldn't get any more money or any more attention. So why are we even allowing this game to be released? We've sunk games for less things. On top of it, it's a
yeah.
glitchy game that's $70 and isn't even massive multiplayer online. It's just an open world wizard game for 70 goddamn dollars.
Just play Skyrim again.
Just play Skyrim. Just play Skyrim.
You know, I'm absolutely with you with that. Yeah, yeah. So it's not been on my mind as much as you say, because I would say 2 or 3 weeks ago I was actively trying to avoid social media because I had the big sads from talking to a friend about a complicated issue.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
so I have been trying to, but it all feels so related and like so het up and hard and stark. Everybody take a deep breath. Um, yeah, I think, and again, and I love what you were saying about, I feel like we're the foot soldiers in just a war between billionaires, and that sounds like a dramatic fucking
Dude.
statement, but it's like we are creating content for some billionaire to launder the reputation of some other billionaire. Um, it's bananas, and like Twitter wouldn't exist without us tweeting.
Yeah.
That's the end of it. So like, of course, it's going to profit from something like this, and then JK is going to profit from something like this. So, and the thing is, every argument you make about this issue, both sides of the argument are right. I think, like you were saying, it's just a game. It's going to make, you know, it could make somebody's day better, and it could make several cents. But then you could also say, it's just a game. Why do you need to support this?
Yes. Yes.
Like,
And that's Hannah, I guess for me, at the end of the day, even though I'm frustrated at everyone involved, and I'll say that over and over and over and over again, and the people that were very involved that are a part of this community still, I do want to say I love you guys so very much, and I don't think any kind of negative way about you as individuals, but I'm gonna slag you for a second. And I think everyone should have just shut the fuck up. And you guys could have just looked at the bigger picture rather than rip each other apart in a goddamn closed, locked cell. Because that was wild. But
the lot so.
at the end
I've
of the
got
day, Han, I think you're touching on something really important, and that's who you can agree with both sides, but who gets kicked in the teeth more? People that are wanting to play some video games or trans folk?
or actual trans people.
That's what I mean. Like people who wanted
Yeah.
to, like the people who
Yeah. Oh
wanted
yeah.
to
I
play
mean,
Harry Potter, or trans people who gets kicked in the teeth more. It's trans, obviously. You know,
I think, yeah, and I think there's a deeper conversation to this. And now bear with me, Ben.
yeah.
Have you heard about capitalism?
Give me a quick rundown. It has something to do with the exchange of goods, or I don't know.
Yeah, money gives you power. Some people have more
Okay.
money than others, and therefore they have more power.
So,
Most of us,
yeah.
um, have very little capital and therefore have to sell our bodies in order to create value in the market for other people.
Such as this podcast.
We bring very little value to the people through this podcast.
Hey, this is an educational Canadian-run podcast.
Science, pro and against.
CBC wishes they could get their hands on us, dog. Daily Wire already tried. We said no, Ben Shapiro. We said no.
We said no to Ben Shapiro. We said no to CBC. The BBC, they blanked me.
Wait, you said no to CBC, bro? We gotta get
to the BBC, the better one. Actually, they're pretty transphobic too. I think this speaks to a larger issue.
Okay.
One of which is arguing things over Twitter, which is never beneficial and never wins people over.
But it makes me feel good sometimes.
It do, and I have learned a lot from social media, and that's the thing, is that's the balance, is that it's always worth going back to, because I feel like I learn things more, even though I know it's actively harming my health at the same time.
Sure.
But also, and this is only half formed, so like, bear with me. But
we'll judge you
I just
forever
think
on this.
there's, yeah, speaking absolutes after this. Just give me 5. I think the current political climate in both our countries leaves a lot of people like me and you feeling very powerless. Even if we vote, even if we say things loudly on Twitter, we actually have very little power in how our countries are run, how our tax dollars are spent, or pounds, how we have very little control in how our lives materially are, and it says a lot at the moment of just like in Britain at the moment. I have not changed my lifestyle, but my lifestyle has changed drastically because of the current situation going on politically in this country.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, myself included, are getting frustrated at how powerless we are.
Mm-hmm.
However, conversely, alongside that, we've realised that the one way we can have power in this society is by buying things. Which capitalism loves. So ultimately, capitalism is winning regardless of whether we buy things. So we're like, well, it's almost a resigned power. It's like, well, capitalism's won, so we have to buy things. But if I'm going to buy things, then I'm going to buy the right things.
Sure.
I'm going to put my money, I'm going to vote with my pound, I'm going to vote with my dollar.
Okay, yeah.
Which I think is also valid and is a way of doing things. It's like, I have to buy things to exist in this society and to be seen as valid in this society. So let me buy the right things and show big businesses or companies or whatever who are the real powers what is valuable to me, and hopefully they'll change and that'll help change things along, which is also valid.
Mm-hmm.
There's also, alongside this, just like, it seems like a lot of people I see are keeping their identity around buying things and what they buy, and that same thing of just like, I buy this thing, I do this, like, I'm literally a vegan, like my identity is in not buying animal products. And I don't know, I just think the problem here is that we are essentially powerless, scrambling over scraps and using the small amount of capital that we do have to try and do the right thing, or do the thing that we can do. If it's something that makes us happy because the world is a nightmare and I can escape into a secret made up world for a while, or I need to buy washing up liquid, let me make sure that it's the kind that doesn't affect the planet as much as the other kind. Like, we're just in an impossible situation. And I just think there's a lot of this that speaks to like just people being powerless and thinking that buying things will save you, and it won't, because it's still capitalism winning.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
You had me. So I'm on board. I agree.
There was a lot of, I've got like 3 prongs there.
No, just at the end, I think the thing is for me, and no, I think you're right. I think we have to decide. We have to vote with our little amount of dollars, and is my, I guess if we look at it that way, um, for my it's super unhealthy because my analytical brain immediately goes to like my
Cuss me
analytical
out.
brain goes in defense of Hogwarts Legacy, and I don't want it to go there because I don't think anyone should have bought it. I don't think I just don't think it should. But immediately when you're saying buy
Yeah.
vote with your dollar. So if I'm love Harry Potter so much, say that was my scenario, and this comes out, and I want to support, my trans friends and stuff as well. No, I shouldn't even say as well, but I want to support them, and I love
Yeah.
Harry Potter, and then I have to. So then, do I have to decide kind of a cost and effect situation, and at that point, then do I need to find out how much of the royalties JK is getting? Because I think a big thing that people have been talking about is JK kind of bragging about, I'm just gonna get royalties, blah blah blah, which is
And even if
fine.
she doesn't get actual money, she gets cultural capital out of it.
Well, the cultural capital comes from us all fucking talking about it so much, and that's
Exactly. So she's already winning.
That's the thing. Why are we? So it brings it. We're horseshoeing. We're horseshoeing all over the place because it
We're
brings me
zoom
around.
zooming all over
It
the
brings me
place.
around to buying it and talking about it. Which one is giving her more power? Realistically, buying the Hogwarts Legacy game. Oh God, I hate how my brain went here. Buying the Hogwarts Legacy game, which I do not support.
But also, your brain is trained by capitalism. Please continue.
You're goddamn right it is. Buying that, but if we're gonna look at it in a capital exchange, because we're stuck in a capitalist system, which we must, if we're going to look at it in the confines of capitalism, in reality, in the world we're living in right now, what is giving her more power? Us talking about it on a site run by a transphobe billionaire, or us buying Hogwarts Legacy for $70? I don't think we should be buying the game again, but what is giving her more power realistically? And then what gives us more power in the future, and how do we stop making, if it's a mistake, how do we stop making mistakes? And if it's not a mistake, let's keep going. But you know what I mean? Like we talked,
No,
everyone
I'm with
has talked
you.
about
I'm
this
with
so
you.
much, and it has had so much clout. There's people, retweeting her stuff, disagreeing with her, but it just gives her more. It gives her more. It gives her more clout. It gives her more, people defending her. At the
No, I'm with
end of the
you.
day, can we create an AI bot that will tell us what is more effective? Is that something we can get some?
No, because that's inherently political in itself. No, and that's how I feel as
So
well.
what are we
Because
gonna
again,
do?
I think I struggle with the same thing of just like my analytical, like I call my logical brain, even though arguably it's not very logical. It's just sort of trained in the ways that the world has taught
Trained
me
it.
the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like it might say that such and such is logical, but actually it's just the best way to behave in this society, I suppose. I'm with you, and it's like, well, actually, how much harm is this actually doing? She gets 0.01% of the sale of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
think,
yeah.
I think it's complicated. What were you going to say? Sorry.
No, I was just gonna get more analytical. It's less than pennies on the dollar. It's such a little amount. It's such a small amount that she won't tell us what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a reason JK's not
She doesn't
saying,
know.
she could figure it out, and she could get at people getting at her very easily if it was a large amount, and she could say, well, I get this much, and just drop the hammer. Or she's maybe not contractually allowed to.
But doesn't this tell you that when we all work together towards a common goal, like making J.K. Rowling money, we can achieve it? Or when we want to have a common goal of something
Bro,
else,
all we did
perhaps
all we
killing
did
billionaires in Minecraft, we can also have that together. So again, once again, we've got one argument with two very true sides to it.
yeah.
It's almost the perfect medium ground to fight over while the
Oh.
billionaires laugh at us.
So you're saying instead of fighting on Twitter, if we all just Minecrafted and got together, we could solve some problems.
I'm just saying that logically, in
Yeah.
the system that we are in, one person doing something or not doing something has very little impact on the systems as a whole,
Yep.
and that feels true to me. I think perhaps banding together and doing things in a different way will have more impact, and I think that's what the trans people and allies who were saying, don't play this game, don't stream it, don't talk about it, were trying to do. Unfortunately, the way that we communicate at the moment is dictated by the internet, by billionaires on the internet who own the ways of communicating.
By the way, I didn't see anyone say don't talk about it. Everyone talked about it, and everyone loved jerking each other off talking about it.
Well, because as soon as you say don't talk about it, you're talking about it. So that's what I would have tweeted at the time if I was thinking about it. But I was like, yeah. Anyway, carry on.
No, I just didn't. The only tweets I did was during the first kind of explosion, especially in our community, all I tweeted about was don't speak in absolutes. I didn't even, not even in relation to Harry Potter, because I didn't want to fucking tweet about it.
And you've tweeted before, saying don't speak in absolutes or jokes therein. And actually, it's something I've been thinking about a lot recently because I'm guilty of this in the last year or so. Like, I don't know if you know about our former Prime Minister Boris Johnson.
Really cute guy, did a lot of good things for your country. Great hair.
Fuck. No, he's a prick. Hate him.
Do you
Even
think
talking about him now makes me feel...
sorry, Boris Johnson butthole. Harry, not Harry.
Definitely shows his butthole. I bet he loves it. And I bet he loves a little bit of shave play with his, whenever he's sleeping around.
Do you think he likes his butthole to be eaten out? And if he does, do you think he eats out buttholes?
Oh, no, he's a selfish lover.
Yeah,
I don't think he needs his asshole. I think he might enjoy a little finger up the bum.
Oh,
but he mostly just likes jizzing in pussies constantly to make more children.
Oh, I'm thinking he likes his whole butthole fully sloppy, eaten out.
Yeah,
but that's just my opinion, and I don't know.
Even talking about him now is making me feel disgusted. But there was a point. There was a point in last year, like I fucking can't even remember when he left. Like this time last year. Where I was just like, don't talk about him.
Yeah.
Don't tweet about him. Don't comment on the weird fucking shit he's doing.
Yeah.
Like, he tried to make a comeback, and I was just like, don't talk about him, because the second that you start speculating on Twitter about him being like a fucking madman, even if it's just like all negative, you're giving him power with which to come back into actual power.
Dude, I think there's going to be power in the future in silence. When someone says some shit that we don't like, and when we don't rip on them, they're just gonna die in the dark. Do you think the Rumpy Trumpy would be as popular as he is if people just let him?
Well, this is what makes me mad now. Is I see a lot of people tweeting about him and saying how funny he is and how back he is, and I'm like, he's gonna come back. He's gonna come into real power. Like, and I know he's very funny. He's
hilarious.
Honestly, one of the best posters on the internet.
It's true.
And I don't want to admit that, because by saying that, I'm giving him cultural capital in which he can come into actual real power, because he's already a person of privilege.
He's going to. He's already the next president, dog. There's no way. If the Democrats, this is the only thing I'm going to say about American politics
When's
today.
the next election? Is it like 2 years?
It's coming up in 2024. If the Democrats, bro, if they put up Joe against Trump, he is going to get murdered on television.
And not to talk about American politics, because as the Democrats are in power and they've done fuck all with it, what have they done? Lost abortion rights. So,
hey, weed's legal, but you can't get an abortion.
I get real stoned now. I'm gonna fuck that kid up if he's in the womb. Yeah. So I do think talking about it is powerful, guys, and like we joke about manifesting, but like talking about things makes stuff happen sometimes.
Not sometimes. Talking about things is capital. Elon Musk paid $40 billion to control the conversation. That's what we're not talking about enough. Regardless of what's happening with Twitter, what's going on, there was a billionaire that
There's power in it,
paid $40 billion publicly to control. Every other billionaire they shut the fuck up for the last 30 years when they own papers, when they own CNN, when they own Fox News. They all are quiet, and we've been on 4chan talking about Elon Musk is so brazen and is so confident about his strategy to do whatever the heck he's going to do, very negatively, that he just openly bought the conversation for $40 million. And wait, billion, million, billion.
Billion?
Don't. It can't
Whatever.
be. It can't be billion. It can't.
No,
be
I think
billion.
it is billions, right?
It can't be 40 billion.
But
There's
it can't
no
be 40
fucking-
million either. That's fucking pissy. I could pay that.
Oh my god, is it 40 billion? Either way, he paid a lot to control the
Either way.
conversation. It's got to be 40 billion. You're right, right?
Well, and also, and you say that he's paid a lot for that, but like Rupert Murdoch owns half the world's newspapers, and he might be quiet about his own his own opinions, but
Yeah.
he is trickling that shit down through his
That's
newspapers.
what I mean. That's who I was referencing. Talking about. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 people, and Elon got into it after hanging
He
out
bought
with
his
them.
way into it, which is the most disgusting thing as well.
Yeah.
It's I know
insane.
they all did, but he was just like,
It's
what's going on
billion.
with my
It's
hair?
44
Sorry.
billion. And the thing that's really, really strange and nasty about it is investors know how much controlling the conversation is worth, because spending $44 billion on something that loses you, what did he lose? Almost that much amount in a couple months. Usually investors would leave and you're done. They know how powerful it is. There's a reason it's not sunk yet. Banks would
And we're all still using it. We're all still using Twitter.
Dog, if
So there
I
is
have a
value in
loan
it.
and I miss 3 payments, they take whatever I had. Elon Musk has missed like 10 of his maximum payments, and the
Yeah.
banks are saying, "Nah, you're good, dog. Keep doing your thing." Because
And even Tesla before that, he was basically saying, like, imagine if I sold this many cars and made this much money,
Yep.
then the business would be worth this much billions. And they're like, yep, sounds good.
Because he's definitely having conversations in the back rooms about, I'm doing this shady thing.
Yeah, about what you can do with that power.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's definitely having an impact, because look at all the changes that the other social media sites are having and the other tech companies are having. Like, look at all the other people getting fired from tech companies. Look at Facebook doing, Meta doing like a charged Instagram now.
Don't talk
like
to me
they're all
about
doing the
Cucky
same
Zucky,
shit.
because I was proud of my Zucky. I was going back to Facebook. I was leaving Twitter over the past couple of weeks. I was like, let's go Zucky. And then he put out that goddamn
fucking wank.
What a cucky little Zucky. That's what we're gonna call him from now on. He's sucking on
like
Elon's
it's a dog
titties.
shit move, but to do it second is
It's embarrassing. And to do it so publicly second, he's just like, oh, Papa
Grow
Elon.
up.
Even Marky Zucky Zuck, my man with the sweet baby rays in his left front pocket, is in Elon's right. What are we doing?
Why are you letting this man dictate what you do? Because he's a fucking idiot and we can all see it. That's what I'm saying. Like, grow up.
Grow up.
This business is just full of wankers copying each other.
Yeah, 100%.
Circle jerking. Being like, oh yeah, he put his fingers up his bum. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, it's
Fuck
horrible.
off.
I hate it. So Hogwarts
Sorry for so
Legacy
many F words.
is 10 out of 10. We're going to buy it, right?
It's a must buy.
It's a must buy.
And it's reflective of a greater problem in greater society, would you believe? I think the best way to end this would be the reminder of just that together there is strength. And in the real world, whether you're an activist or not, having numbers is power. So don't piss off your friends and comrades, because you need them with you in a real world life or death situation.
That's very well said, and that's something we didn't really touch on. Is you do don't piss off. I wouldn't even say don't piss off your friends and comrades, because I want to take this in a bit of a serious tone, right? Like we genuinely piss it. We came into this conversation, guys. If you've made it this far with us after all the poop and all the,
we really tried to put you off with the poop.
And then it's just been but it's been good and productive. You and I came into this conversation thinking we had completely different views.
Oh yeah.
And it wouldn't have, and I don't think we did at the end of the day. A couple subtleties here and there. But even if we did, at the end of the day, I think it still could have been would have been a very productive conversation. And I'm not saying I'm not that guy saying just hear out the transphobes. Just hear out the racists. Just to have a conversation. All I'm saying is don't scream at your friends that you know genuinely have, your back a little bit. Have a conversation with them first. I don't know.
Yeah,
Have a
I can see
conversation.
that.
Be a Hannah, not a Ben.
What does that mean?
Well,
Shave your bum with a normal razor instead of a
no,
clipper.
I still haven't. I had a very close friend that was a member of my wedding party who I still don't talk to because he was a little turd, and
He is a little turd.
he is a little turd. But I could have talked to him about it. I just cut him off and said, "Go fuck yourself." And I think
Yeah, but also, I'm with you, and you can respect that. But also, you probably did your best with what you had at the time. Please be kind to yourself.
definitely.
But continue.
Today I would have would have had the same result, but I would have felt better about it because I would have had a conversation first. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you need to be friends with people you disagree with inherently. Just have a little back and forth first, and then pull the plug. And having conversations through social media with and not DMs. It's not fucking productive because you guys are just out there showing trying to see who has the bigger dick.
And especially when it's public, you're just like, it just adding likes and shit into that just makes it really gross.
Yeah.
And yeah, I see you, and I can understand that you say you might want to have a conversation, but yeah, sometimes as well, you can set your boundaries, and if people overstep it, you can then be like, that's when you have to make a decision of being like, is my boundary reasonable or is this person unreasonable? And I
Mhm.
think that's fine too, because I've also had people in my life who I've had to ditch as well. And sometimes you can have that conversation 10 times with them and they're not going to listen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
It is what it is. We are where we stand now, and hopefully going forward, we can all try and work towards a better future for all of us. And that's a lofty goal, but sometimes you just need to eat some crisps.
Bro, I need to eat some crisps. I'm gonna eat some.
Chips. Chips
You-
for you Yanks out there.
They raised the chip price of the cheap chips at the place
What?
that I go to. No, by 50%. They went from
Are you having
$1.
a laugh?
They went from $1 to $1.49. Okay,
Oh, and they give you that 1 cent off like it's a deal. Fuck off.
bro. They went from three for $3 to $1.49 each. They went up by 50% for my dirty old crisps. I like
Is
crisps.
this for your
more than
old
chips.
old Dutch cheese and onions?
No. This is the not named brand. The not named brand for old Dutch. You're looking at $5-6.
For like a big box of the multi-pack though,
The
right?
big box, the
Oh,
dual
yeah.
pack. Yeah. But a buck? Come on now. I don't know.
Yeah,
Capitalism
definitely
sucks.
potatoes
You
needed.
shouldn't have bought the Harry Potter game, but if you did, you should shut the fuck up about it. Don't hate raid people that are playing it.
Yep.
Stand your ground. Look at where your money's going.
And also, if there is a real and material way that you can support the trans community in your own community, please do it, because there's a lot of hate and problems going on in all of our countries about it.
Dude, it's so weird. It is it's so strange. The amount of public hate. There's no other word for it. The amount of public hate is so strange and so confusing. For a group of the population that they say is 1% or less. It doesn't matter how large the group of the population is, but it's weird how public the discourse of hate is right now, and I think that's the thing really that you kept bringing us back to with regards to this game is it's still very prevalent and very important, and we need to support our trans friends.
It's real and it's fresh. And a girl was murdered in the UK last week, the week before, for being trans. So, forgive me if I'm a bit like spicy about it. It's a real
Yeah.
thing that's happening.
Mhm.
And if you maybe what you can say from going forward is like do what you want to do to survive in this world, but if you hear racism, transphobia, classism, all of the isms, and you're in a position where you can try and push back on it, try and say something, you know. At the very least, that's the most you can do as kind of like an ally, right? Ally.
One, and it's just as a like just as a fucking decent person, man. If you see someone being shitty to someone, say something. Don't be shitty to this person. It's so easy, and I grew up watching a bunch of, not to get super serious as we end, but I grew up watching a bunch of men I respected and revered not stopping things they disagreed with, and I choose not to be that way. And I
Yeah.
think that's the way a lot of older generations are, including some millennials, Gen X and above. I would say that's definitely the, well, it doesn't affect me. It's gonna upset the balance of whatever social situation is. Say something, man. Don't be a little dick. Just say something. Say something to your friends. Pull them aside. You don't need to make a spectacle of it, but say something. If someone's being a dick, say something.
Yeah, pull them aside and say, "Hey, what you said wasn't cool," or pull the person who was, being attacked aside, saying, "Hey, that wasn't cool." Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
do what you can do if you can do it. I think that's what I would want to take away from this. And like, yeah, you want to play some stupid game, go ahead.
It's not even MMO,
Stop fucking
bro.
talk about it.
It's
Just play
not
some
even.
fucking RuneScape.
It's not even MMO. It's not even. Why are you paying $70? Okay, Han. Let's wrap it up.
Do you want to finish up with a celebrity that you would like to fight?
Yeah, oh yeah, but you go first.
Oh, I need to think about one.
Oh, I got one, dog.
You got one in the tank?
Come on. You know.
J.K. Rowling.
You know. You know. Here's how it goes down. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Unless you want to get in on this, but here's how it goes down. There I am. I'm visiting England, obviously, on a trip. Um I'm in London. I am in London, and I'm loving it, and I'm chilling. I'm walking around.
London
I'm
vibes.
it's vibes. It's vibes. It's the middle of the week.
Midweek on a London trip? What's wrong with
Yeah.
you?
Cheap flights, homie. Cheap flights.
True
So
that.
there I am midweek. It's less busy. It's not tourist time. I'm having a couple pints, and I hear this cackling screech that's very offensive to the ears, and I look over and I see this, and I can't tell what she's saying, but I just see this kind of black vomit spewing out of this woman's mouth from across the bar, and I try, Han. I try to mind my own business, and there I am, and the vomit, it just starts leaking all over the place and gets all over my friends, and it starts spilling all over the bar, and this black, filthy black vomit is now very a la Ghostbusters 2, covering the entire bar with the nonsense, and I say
Feel
no.
ill.
I feel ill, and I stand up, being the white knight that I am. I stand up and I say, "Hey, you black vomit bitch! You stop that right now. You don't even. This is a public zone. I'm a guest in your country, and this is rude." And here's the thing, Han, that you might not expect. The second I call this stranger out for being rude, the bar kind of turns on her, because this is a classy establishment in London. So
Oh, okay.
all I do is simply point out, as a general citizen, the actions of this individual, the black tar that is spewing all over the bar. All I do is say to the people, "That's what's happening. There's black tar all over the bar," and they start looking around. I don't scream at them and say, "Why haven't
You're
you
getting
stopped
black
this?"
tar all over the bar, lady.
Yeah. Yeah. I just say, "You're getting black tar all over the bar, lady," and people start noticing. I'm not yelling at the people for not noticing. I just yell at the lady. "Lady, you're getting black tar over." And she looks at me, and she pulls out a quilled pen. She points it at me, and she tries to drop an Expectro Patronum on me. She tries to drop an Expectro Patronum on me. Immediately, I react. I grab, obviously, because I have what do you
Tiny
guys call?
penis.
Well, so in my left hand, I grab my tiny penis, and in my right hand, I have a French onion soup,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I got a
A
little
wonderful
happy.
appetizer.
It's nice and it's still steaming, and I grab the French onion soup, tiny penis in left hand, French onion soup in right. She's screaming expecto patronum. All the lads in the bar are very confused at this point, and they're trying to just figure out where this black tar came from and how they can get it off of them. Because it's sticking to
Yeah.
them. It's very sticky,
Yeah.
and it's hard to get off of you once you get it on you. So I have these two things in my hand, small as they may be. One is mighty, and that's the spicy onion soup. And I get up and I run. I run directly across the bar, and I smash my hot French onion soup directly into J.K. Rowling's face. To which at
And
that
we know that soup, it's got that cheese and bread crust on top. It holds heat like a motherfucker.
So here's where it gets good. The
Yeah.
cheese hits her first, and she starts laughing at me and saying, "You can't do." And then the heat hits. Then the heat hits, and of course the screams begin, and just like in Wizard of Oz, when the witch gets hit with the water, JK just melts away. Just melts the fuck away. And luckily enough, her Twitter goes with her, and it's just goes down the goddamn drain.
It's like she's been removed from time.
It is like she's been erased from time. We hear the faint sounds, whoo, 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 of the TARDIS, and
She crossed her own
Scene.
timeline.
End scene.
End scene.
So that's my celebrity fight. I would beat the shit out of J.K. Rowling with a French onion soup because I guarantee you she does not like the French. So it's
And she
fun.
probably,
for me.
she hates the French.
Yeah, that was on purpose.
I can't top that, Ben. I feel like we need to leave it there because that's a perfect ending to a perfect.
Right when
perfect
Abby
pod.
got back, right when I finished beating the shit out of J.K. Rowling.
Hi, RB. Thanks for coming back. We just beat the shit out of J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
I say we. I lived vicariously through your story. I was there. I was in the moment. I could see it.
Is our boy Stinky still streaming? Should we go raid some Stinky? Oh, why is this guy's killing me, man? He's up and down all day today. Oh, hell.
He's always on your schedule.
Yeah, he is. Hey, Sonny!
Oh, Sonny!
Starblast!
Been
Oh
nutting.
my goodness. Thank you, Sonny. Thank you so much. We have been nutting together. We have been.
With your tiny, tiny penis in one hand.
Yeah, well, at least Sonny doesn't have a tiny, tiny penis like I do. Guys, we need to go raid someone. We need to get out of here before we get into any more trouble. And
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's
Yeah.
been a tough time. I think things have just felt dark and shit for a long time for a lot of reasons. And I hope that everybody else can also appreciate just squeezing that spot and getting some of the gunk out.
Dude, I gotta get the gunk out. I
love gunk.
Gunk is great. Just a couple housekeeping things. I want to thank our sponsors, the Chill RP Rust community. If you do play Rust, go to discord.gg/chillrp. I might be doing a little Rusty stream in like 20 minutes, actually. I'm going to eat a little bit and then, yeah, I might jump back on. I'm just trying to get out there a little more. Just trying to get out there a little more. So,
Get out in the world.
yeah, I might do a little Rusty stream rebuilding Town Hall, but tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, that's 12 p.m. Eastern, Ben Makes a
4
Friend, BFAX 2 is finally happening. Yes, we've confirmed
Best
it.
B-Facts.
Best BFAX is coming on, and I think we're gonna get to meet the man behind the myth. I think we're meeting actual BFAX, the human being, tomorrow, not the fun memester. I think we're meeting him as he is as a real person in real life, and not necessarily the character Best BFAX. So
I'm thrilled about this.
what's more thrilling is we weren't sure if we were gonna get to have him on because he might be committed. He's not committed. We're excited about it. We're thrilled.
Ooh, we love
Um,
a single king.
we love it. Oh, I meant committed. Like, he,
No, I know.
he literally messaged me. I might be locked up this week, so we'll get down to the bottom of that. We'll figure out why they were gonna lock him up. That's not even a joke. We'll figure out why they
Wow.
were gonna lock him up. And in the meantime, Han, any final? Oh my God, this dude has been streaming for 3 hours. Should we? Do you guys have anyone we should raid? Does anyone?
Yeah, throw anyone in chat who we should raid.
Please. I'm not sure if the person I was gonna raid is still gonna be going, and I'm sure some of you guys have been there. Let us know though if anyone else, anyone is streaming that you guys would like us to raid.
I don't think I got anyone. I think I Just Love Puzzles is still streaming. Your fave gal.
Oh shoot! How long has Salix been going? Hell yeah!
Salix?
We haven't seen Salix in a hot second. Oh my! Oh, that's why I didn't. I always scroll down. Salix is crushing it right now. Yeah. Let's go ahead and raid our dear friend. Yeah, let's go ahead and raid our dear friend Salix. And I think this was a productive conversation, and I think it went. I feel like it went really well. I'm gonna have to rewatch it to make sure, but I feel really good about
The
it.
anxiety is talking. Like,
Dude, it's starting to
chime
chime in. I'm like, oh no.
No, I think we had a productive conversation, and it wasn't one where we were having to agree with each other every 5 minutes. So that's fine.
Yeah.
I would call you a C word if I had to. And I just hope that anybody listening, if you're watching this live or on the VOD, just be nice to yourself and try and call out injustice where you can see it.
Yeah, I would attach on to that. Be patient with your friends. That's all
And
I'm
drink
gonna
a beer,
say.
have some crisps.
is
Have some
I
crisps.
just be patient with your friends and eat before you have a confrontational conversation with someone. That's
Yeah,
all I'm gonna
absolutely.
say. Be patient with people you disagree with, but you know may not be inherently horrible. Just be kind and be patient. That's all I ask. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Thanks, everybody. Love you.
All right, guys. Love you. We are leaving once I figure out how to do this. How do I click on the raid?
I don't know. This is
Me-
Streamlabs. Streamlabs
Well,
stream.
it's not letting me do it in Streamlabs, so I'm just trying to figure out how to. There we go. We're out of here, guys. Love you all.